evening, everyone, from North Tonawanda, New York, and welcome to Western New York High School football.
Sports proudly presents Section 6 High School Football. From the George J. Vetter Stadium in North Tonawanda, New York, tonight's action will feature the Jamestown Red Raiders taking on the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks. At game time, the conditions, clear skies, chilly temperatures. Falling into the upper 30s, the temperature at game time will be 44 degrees. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Stewart, working along with my colleague, Walter John, as we look down at the field at the North Tonawanda Marching Band, as they just gave their rendition of our national anthem, and the crowd continuing to file in here. Final preparations from the head coaches to their players with the instructions to follow.
Hall of Fame night this particular evening in North Tonawanda, New York. 4 players, past players, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in North Tonawanda. The Jamestown Red Raiders under Coach Wally Hucknow, now in his 8th year, are #1 in Western New York. In the large school poll, they are 5-0. They're taking on the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks, coached by Dave Anastasi in his first year. And the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks are 2-3 coming into this game. Break a key Division I contest. First, we'll look at the Jamestown Red Raiders. Here you see Dave Anastasi. Back after an absence. He was a former head coach for North Tonawanda, and he's back for a second term. They've lost 3 games, but they've been in all the games. We expect this to be a pretty even football game coming in, and Jamestown might have their hands full. Let's take a look at the Red Raiders.
Okay, for the Red Raiders of Jamestown, across the way there in their white jerseys, red pants, traditional uniforms from them. The senior running back, Kevin Scenario, has 550 yards rushing thus far this year with 6 touchdowns scored. He leads the Red Raiders in offense, and they have a breakaway threat and a senior fullback in Ryan Brightman, who scored 6 touchdowns as well, leading his team into that #1 ranking spot here in Western New York. Very, very strong defense as well. They've allowed only 7 points this season, so tough work out there tonight for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks, as special introductions being made on the field for the seniors, I believe, who are participating in this game here for the North Tonawanda Club out at midfield. But Jamestown, they are a dominant football team under their head coach, Wally Hucknow, in his 8th year. Walt, his overall record, 52 wins, 15 losses, and no ties. Wally Hucknow is a definite leader out there on the field. Their 1989 record was 1, 7, lost 3. Right now, they're undefeated, and they are ticketed for Rich Stadium at the rate they're going.
At the rate they're going, indeed, but they might run into a snag tonight if North Tonawanda and the Lumberjacks on Hall of Fame evening have any say in this. Let's take a look first at the North Tonawanda offense. When you talk about Jamestown, Frank, you say run, run, run. This year, when you talk about North Tonawanda, surprise, it's pass, pass, pass. They have the leading passer in Western New York this year, senior quarterback Ed Mahoney. Mahoney has completed 54% of his attempts, 87 of 160, for 1,261 yards and 11 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. He leads all Western New York in yards. Top passer right now, Ed Mahoney. He's also a Division I punting prospect. He's that good. North Tonawanda receivers having great years this year. Junior Travers Zayas leads all Western New York receivers with 32 receptions, 566 yards, 17.7 yards per catch, and 8 touchdowns. And Darren Geibel, 18 catches for 267 yards. And they also have a couple of players with 13 receptions also. But if they're going to stay in this game, they're going to need some help from their defense, and their defense is a 4-4, and we will hope that they will be able to stay in this game. Traditionally, North Tonawanda, Frank, at home, a very strong team. But against Jamestown, not quite sure if they can match the Jamestown Red Raiders' firepower. We'll find out tonight. Being since that North Tonawanda is at home and it's a grass field, Jamestown playing on the turf field this year, the artificial surface, I would think that that would give the home team, the Lumberjacks, a little bit of an edge.
And we've seen the Lumberjacks over the years, Walt, as you mentioned earlier, perform extremely well on cable television. They've got a beautiful field to work at here. The conditions at game time, well, just about perfect for football, although the temperature is very, very cool at 44 degrees and expected to drop a little bit more. There's just a little bit of a breeze blowing through the ballpark, and that's expected to settle down as the game progresses. And the track is very dry. We've had some rain, but it's a good field in that it's sloped curved to the outside, beautifully manicured as well. The lines are marked very well here, and I would expect that the field will be very, very playable for both teams tonight. And as you said, when you have the home field and the crowd around you, and it's Hall of Fame night here, as seniors being introduced and parents being introduced as well, just an outstanding evening for the local people here, and they'll be rooting very, very hard for the big upset.
Well, let's take a look at the game scores as they are introducing the senior players and the senior cheerleaders here at the last home game for the Lumberjacks this year. North Tonawanda at 2-3. They started their season off by losing to West Seneca East 25-14. In the second game, North Tonawanda came back and put a walloping on LaSalle 59-6. Then, in the third week of the season, Orchard Park beat North Tonawanda 28-27 in a real dogfight there, a 1-point loss. Lockport then beat North Tonawanda 28-13, and North Tonawanda came back last week with a very impressive win, 30-6 over the Frontier Falcons.
And for Jamestown, it's been just awesome all season long. In their first game of the year, they shut out the Lakeshore Eagles 41-0. And then the key matchup early in the season to establish the #1 ranking in Western New York, the powerhouse of Lockport. Jamestown went up to Lockport, knocked them off, and handled them rather easily, winning that game by a score of 21-0. There's Dave Anastasi returning as the head coach here at North Tonawanda High School with his assistants as they gather around there along the sidelines. Then they went to the Jamestown team, went out to West Seneca East, 22-7. The West Seneca East Trojans able to come up with a touchdown, and that turned out to be the only score of the season suffered by the Jamestown Raiders thus far. They'll be facing North Tonawanda here tonight. They whopped Lancaster by a score of 34-0, and then rolled through St. Francis, a highly touted team here in Western New York, by a score of 15-0. So, Walt, they are a juggernaut on defense. Very, very tough to penetrate.
Well, they're an outstanding football team, as evidenced by their ranking. #1 in the large school polls right now with a record of 5-0, and they are just ranked ahead of the St. Joe's Club, the Marauders, who are right on their heels, ranked #2, and Williamsville South and Timon, both undefeated, ranked 3rd and 4th, also getting some recognition. Well, because it's Hall of Fame night here this evening for this ball game, a lot of pregame festivities, and at halftime we'll have a lot of festivities too, with 4 new inductees to the North Tonawanda Hall of Fame, and of course their fabulous band playing at halftime. Let's take a look at the Section 6 Division I standings going into this week.
Well, the powerhouses, noted football programs in Western New York. Jamestown at the top of the heap, 3-0, tied with Orchard Park currently at 3-0. Lockport is 3-1. That Orchard Park Jamestown matchup will be a good one later this year. Lockport, as we said, 3-1. West Seneca East is at 2-3. Frontier at 1-2. North Tonawanda, looking for the upset here tonight, are currently at 1-3 in their division, and Lancaster having a very off year for them. The Redskins suffering through this one. They're 0-5 this far. The officials, as we see them escort the team captains out to midfield. The umpire for tonight's game will be Ed Gaswick. Referee is Don Burns. The head linesman is Pat Dempsey. And the line judge will be Mr. Bill Miller.
And the voice you hear in the background, Mr. Dick Grapes, the PA announcer here at North Tonawanda for the Lumberjack games. He always does an outstanding job. I'm Walter John, along with Frank Stewart and our fabulous crew working again this evening. And this is a key high school football game in the fact that it's actually more important for North Tonawanda to win this game, Frank, because they still have an outside shot of making the playoffs for a wild card spot, but they have to win this one and their remaining 2 games.
Yeah, very, very tough for them to do, though. As we see the coin toss out at midfield, you know, real interesting before we start, I wonder if we could get the large school poll put up there, the coaches poll for Western New York on the high school level in the large schools, and you'll see some real strong football programs ranked very high. And I'll run them down for you very quickly as I have them. Jamestown currently at 5-0. St. Joe's 5-0. Williamsville South 5-0. Timon 5-0. That's some strong football there.
Timon plays St. Joe's
this
Saturday.
Weekend. Yeah, that's right. The Lockport Lions 4-1, right up there. Grand Island 4-0. Grover Cleveland at 4-0. Maryvale 4-0. McKinley at 3-1, and Sweet Home a little bit of a surprise at 4-1. So that's your top 10 schools, but the top 4 of those teams are super strong programs this year.
We'll look at the small school poll when we get an opportunity. Saw both Grand Island and Maryville ranked in the top 10. They play each other next Saturday. That's another key contest. It'll be a division game, and that might decide the championship there. All right, receiving the Jamestown Red Raiders as they have white helmets and white jerseys with red pants, and the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks will be the darker of the 2 teams with the black pants. And then the red shirts and white numerals. Kicking off will be Ed Mahoney from his own 40-yard line. And let's take a look at the players back to receive the opening kickoff. Jeff Bloomquist, Terry Garvin, and Jackson, number 34. And it's a long kick that bounces into the end zone. Bloomquist and Jackson watch it roll to the turf. It's out to the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the starting offense for tonight for the Jamestown Red Raiders, led by senior quarterback Scott Larson. Fullback is Dwayne Vanderwerk, and the tailback Kevin Senier. The flanker is Bloomquist, that's Jeff Bloomquist, and the split end is Mike Cady. The tight end is Chris Swanson. The offensive line, and always big, Josh Nelson, the left tackle, Eric Barnes, the left guard, Mike McAdoo, the center, Eric Trask, the right guard, and Jamie Rodriguez, the right tackle. First play from scrimmage from the 20-yard line, the Jamestown Red Raiders. And a rushing play, number 22, Kevin Senior, for short yardage out to the 22 or 23-yard line. Here's the starting defense for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks. The left end is Tom Britt, 33, left tackle Gary Zalewski. The right tackle is Brian Mull, 76, and the right end is Matt Stewart. Left outside linebacker Darren Hartman, the left inside linebacker Kyle Mull, the right inside linebacker Mark Vicio, and the right outside linebacker Ryan Lewis. The left corner is Darren Geibel, and the right corner is Trevor Zayats. The safety man is Mike Krasbilski. Second down and call it 7, a gain of 3 on that play. And here's a rushing play. A fumble on the play. Indication is that Jamestown has recovered the ball. Senior fell on it.
Boy, a sizable loss on the play of about 4 yards back to the 19-yard line, however, as a misdirection play and Senior coming back around his quarterback. Let's look at the replay once again. Senior is going to wind up with the ball, as you see it there, and he just dropped it, outright dropped it, and very, very close to recovery for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks.
Third down and 11. Third down and 11 play for the Jamestown Red Raiders. As you see the ball right resting at the 19-yard line. Larson sets him down, and it's a end-around play to Cady, the split end, and Cady trying to get outside, gets to the 23-yard line, and he's gained, tackled at the 24, a pickup of 5, but not nearly enough for the first down. So our first punting situation in the game, and Jamestown will have to punt it away.
Good defensive effort there for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks, and they got a little bit of a break, and maybe an even bigger break had they been able to recover that fumble. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, but for Jamestown, they were able to run another play. Now they get the opportunity to kick it out of trouble. But nice defensive sequence there for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks.
Ray Taylor standing at his own 11-yard line. Mike Cady will center it. Ed Hartman and Darren Geibel back. And the kick, Zayas almost blocked it. An excellent kick. And Hartman takes it at the 47, to the 50, to the 45, and down to the 42-yard line. Great field position for the Lumberjacks. And let's take a look at the Lumberjacks starting offense. And they're led by their all-star quarterback, and he leads all quarterbacks this year in Western New York. Ed Mahoney, he's having a great year. Kyle Mull is the fullback, 36, and Rich York is the tailback, number 28. The flanker is Darren Geibel. He's got a big year, 18 catches. And Zayats is the split end, 32 catches. Mike Przbilski is the tight end. Barosis, Breer, Zook, Cerrito, and Marquette are the offensive line. First down play, and it's number 23 cutting it back against the grain, Tom Finicki. Tom Finicki, who slipped into the starting lineup in place of Rich York at the tailback spot, and Finicki picks up 6 yards.
Very nice carry there. Let's give him 7 yards on that from the 41 down to the 34-yard line. Great field position, as you mentioned, Walt, to start this drive. And let's pause here and take a look at that starting defense for the Jamestown Red Raiders.
Chris Swanson, John Anzalone, Chris Lang is the nose guard, Josh Nilsson, Jason Jackson, linebackers Vanderwerk and Jesse, Taylor and Cady, the corners, Garvin and Bloomquist. Garvin is the monster man, and again, it's Finicki. Finicki picks up the first down. Good movement by his footwork there, and he gets down to the 25-yard line.
9 yards on the carry, the first down of the ball game. And you mentioned, Walt, at the start of this program that North Tonawanda loves to throw the football. They got one of the best passers in Western New York throwing the ball, as you see the finish up of the defense that Walt mentioned earlier. But they were able to run the ball twice now with misdirection plays.
That MS, that's a monster back, Garvin. He'll roll them all over the field. They might even bring Garvin up to the line of scrimmage and play 6 people at the line of scrimmage when it's a run situation. I formation, second man, short yardage. Finicki again, 2 yards. Finicki, don't know if there was an injury to Rich York. He was listed as the starting tailback and Finicki as the backup, but both would play about equal amounts. And Finicki has been impressive here starting this game.
Brought down on the play that time by Chris Swanson, the senior tight end offensively. Plays the defensive end position as well. Very quick to the ball that time at 6 foot tall and 195 pounds.
Outstanding drive to start the game for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks. Decided underdog in the game from the 4-yard line, 2nd down and 8. Mahoney, first passing attempt, good protection, throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Darren Geibel. Right through his hands. It might have been a shade high, Frank.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Walt, as the ball was thrown on a line drive throw. Good strong arm demonstrated there by Mahoney. But unfortunately, the receiver had to reach up very high, and we'll see the replay of this again. As you see Mahoney rolling, he has good protection and just guns that ball. And yeah, that was a little bit too high and out of the reach of the receiver, attempting to make a tremendous catch there, Darren Geibel, at 5'10", 165. He wished he was about 3 or 4 inches taller that time.
Well, he's done it 18 times, 18 receptions for Geibel this year. He's out to the left flank with tight end Przybylski. Out to the right is Zayats. Mahoney back from the I formation. Rushes on Mahoney. Long ball open. Touchdown! Tight end Mike Przybylski. 24 yards on the touchdown pass. And just like that, Frank, home field advantage, I guess. 6-0 North Tonawanda.
Wow, that electrifies the crowd along the sideline. Bear in mind, Jamestown hasn't been scored on but 1 time in 5 games. This is a shock right here, how wide open it is. The coverage attempted on the play by number 24, Terry Garvin, but he was a day late on that one, and the receiver wide open. Let's see if they can cash in the extra point.
Here's Mahoney to try the extra point, and the kick is drilled, and the kick is good. They score, the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks lead it 7-0 under 7:45 to go in the first quarter. North Tonawanda comes out and shocks Jamestown here on their opening drive.
The band starts to pick it up along the sidelines. As the fans are at their feet, the cheerleaders dancing around down below. This is exciting here in North Tonawanda. A 24-yard scoring pass from Mahoney, the quarterback. Ed Mahoney completing 1 of 2 passing attempts on that drive. He cashes in from 24 yards out to his receiver, Mike Przybylski. That caps a 41-yard drive as they started the drive inside Jamestown territory, and that was the NT defense that set that play up.
And that was catch number 13 on the year for Przybylski, number 14. He, along with Rich York, each had 13 coming in. Geibel had 18 receptions, and Zayats 32. And for Ed Mahoney, already this year, that's touchdown number 12. Passing the football.
Quite an arm for Ed Mahoney, 5'11", 175 pounds.
And Mahoney's kickoff is going to be taken this time at the 6-yard line, up to the 10. And out to the 25, and Bloomquist is near the 29-yard line. A nice return by number 11, Jeff Bloomquist.
Brought down by number 28, Rich York.
Super return that time as the ball was kicked very deep once again. The first kickoff, by the way, Mahoney put the ball into the end zone and not returnable. This one, it was taken at the 6-yard line. And a pretty good return of 23 yards out to the 29, and Jamestown has got to set themselves down again and right their offense. With 7:35 on the clock moving along here in this first quarter, a lot of football ahead of us, but they've got to be a little bit shocked.
Well, this is a team that handed Lockport a 21-0 loss. There's a handoff, and it is Senier, an ultra-quick back, and Senier tackled after a gain of 3, maybe 4 out near the 33-yard line.
Darren Geibel with a real strong shoulder into Senier, set him back. Senier, if we looked at the replay, had a full head of steam going around the corner. He picked up some yardage, about 5 on the play, but watch him get stuck as the tackle is made right there. Shoulder and helmet by Geibel, number 80, into the running back Senier. That slowed him down.
Boy, I thought Senior got a nice placement there in that ball. They spotted it all the way up near the 35-yard line, just short of the 35. So a gain of 5, 2nd down and 5, full house backfield. Scott Larson, the quarterback, and it's a straight dive. 29, Ryan Brightman. He has 6 touchdowns this year, and Brightman has been able to break a long run in every single game this year. He's the player to watch.
Kyle Moll, number 36, with the tackle, while just a junior at 5'7", 165. He really wrapped Brightman up around the ankles. And then he had some assistance from Mike Przybylski coming up to close in on the tackle. About a 3-yard gain on the play for Brightman, as you said. So big 3rd down again for Jamestown early in this football game.
3rd and a long yard. This time they go from the I formation. 6 minutes and 5 seconds to go. First quarter, North Tonawanda 7, Jamestown nothing. 3rd and a long yard, and Senier is not going to get there. No gain on the play.
Get the number of the tackler that time. It's number 39, it looks like, out there, who was in on the stop. Ryan Lewis, I believe.
Looked like Lewis, and you also got some help from Darren Hartman.
No gain on the play, and they are forced into perhaps a punt situation. Wally Hucknall likes to gamble occasionally, This game, he's down 7-0. I think he'll kick the ball away, but just a yard away from a first down, and sometimes he'll go for it.
Well, I think they've run into a real buzzsaw here tonight, coming into the hometown crowd on Hall of Fame night. And here's the kick. Kick almost blocked. Taylor gets it away. It hits at the 40, bounces back, and will be down at the 42. It took a North Tonawanda Lumberjacks bounce, and maybe the ball is going to be bouncing for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks all night. We'll see. Right now they lead it 7-0. Now, Frank, they take over possession of the ball at the 42 in good field position.
Exactly right. We'll see the replay of this. Now watch how close this punt comes to being blocked as you see the player diving, extending himself out there, giving it all for the team there. A good effort. Didn't get his number exactly, but a good effort and a short punt, and a bounce back towards Jamestown territory. So North Tonawanda again with solid field position.
Well, just great field position. They took it in for a touchdown on their first possession. This time they have a player in motion to the left. And Mahoney back to pass. Pass is caught by the tight end, and it's a loss of a yard. Przbilski wrapped up by Ray Taylor, the punter, who also plays halfback.
Yeah, number 19, Taylor in on the play with a little bit of assistance by Dwayne Vanderwerk, but Taylor really read the play very well, read the quarterback's eyes, in fact, and rolled that way, kept rolling, and saw that Przbilski was just flaring out from his lineup position along the line of scrimmage, and there was no room to really gain any advantage on the play, and the ball was thought put for a 2-yard loss.
2-yard loss on the play. Ed Mahoney, the quarterback from the I formation. He's got York in the game now, and he's in motion right. No flags. It thought there might have been movement on the line. Mahoney's pass is caught. First down. This is a long one for York. He may go all the way. A flag down. He's caught and dropped at the 16-yard line. A flag down at the 39-yard line.
Hold everything. The old famous sports announcer saying, hold everything, it's going to come back. There you see the signal from Don Burns, the referee.
And an indication when things are not going well for a team all year, things like this happen against you.
Look at this play, a tremendous effort and a good reception over the middle. And then turning on the afterburners to the sideline is Rich York, and Rich York finally pushed out of bounds, a touchdown-saving tackle there. And that negates better than a 40-yard reception. And they're going to move the ball back all the way to the 30. So a significant penalty on the play of 10 yards. And the first of the ball game suffered by NT, and it comes at a terrible time for them. Well, takes away a first down at least, and perhaps a touchdown, and obviously significant field position.
Big penalty. Second down and very, very long from the 30. York in motion right. Mahoney back to pass, fires out to York. And York makes the catch, then did not handle it cleanly, and it's an incomplete play.
Wasn't going to get much on the play at all as the ball was underthrown.
I want to make a point before I forget about it. York was slated to start, finicky start, and not a big deal because they're both going to be playing just as much. But on that kickoff, it was York who made the stick and the stop at the 29-yard line. So he got a chance to make a tackle, and then he made the big catch that was called back on the penalty. I'd like to see that. 3rd and
22 already. Look at this.
Well, with Mahoney in there, anything's capable. He can pass it downfield long enough to make the play. To Zayas, an incomplete. He was double covered by Taylor and Katie, and he was sandwiched on that play. No chance for Mahoney, so he threw it out of bounds and actually threw it away.
Mahoney now in the ballgame has attempted 5 passes. He's completed 2, one for a positive 24 yards and a touchdown, and the other for a loss of 2 yards. Mahoney can really throw the football with accuracy and a lot of strength, velocity as well over the middle.
And what about this, Frank? He's a Division I punting prospect.
Punting prospect.
Punting prospect, and here he is, the kick. And the kick is a low line drive, not a great kick there. It bounces at the 40 down to the 28. Katie returns it up to the 40, and Katie is green. Number 80 and on the stop right there.
Darren Geibel again.
Geibel, the starting split end.
And Mike Zook with some assistance on the play, number 54, and he's going to sit down for a minute. He's got a shoulder in there, I'm sure, and may need to catch himself, regroup on the sideline. A heck of a tackle on the return.
And 54, as you see there, Frank Zook snapped the football. Got down there.
That's a hustling play. Hustling play. You got to like it.
He was a long snapper.
Well, that was a decent punt of about 40 yards after it finally bounced upfield. Nice return on the play of 10 or 12 yards or so.
Jamestown down 7-0, 1st and 10 from their 40-yard line with 3:40 to go in the first quarter. There's a running play, and here's 29 Blumquist, the guy that breaks a long one every game, and he breaks a long one there for a first down. I was told by Wally Hucknall
First and 10, Jamestown.
That was not Bloomquist, that was Ryan Brightman. That Brightman has broken a long run every game so far, Frank.
Gets 21 yards in that carry there. Let's look at the replay of this one. Just a quick handoff, and he just breaks it to the outside. A tremendous hole up the middle. And again, a touchdown-saving tackle for Geibel, who's getting his name called a lot here in this first quarter.
Now 21 yards on that play for Ryan Brightman, who's a 5'11" senior running back. And he has broken a long run every single game. He's got 6 touchdowns. Here's Senior, their workhorse. He cuts the corner, 35, 30, and another first down inside the 30-yard line.
Terrific lead block on the play, opened it up for Senior. You can see the play power left. That time at number 43 in the backfield for Jamestown. Vanderwerk really kicked out on the linebacker who was coming up strong on the play from the line of scrimmage. Just watch this. Vanderwerk will be leading the block. There it is. And he just demolishes that man, puts him down on his backside onto the turf and allows Senior to turn the corner. Significant gain on the play, all the way inside the 30 to 26. So about 14 yards or so on that carry.
That block was against Ryan Lewis, the right outside linebacker. He made him part of the turf on that play. On the 26-yard line, here comes Senior sweeping left. Senior, short yardage, inside the 25 near the 23.
Almost the same play. It worked well last time. They decided to try it again. And a shorter pickup of about 3 yards on the play. But Jamestown on the march here late in this first quarter.
Yeah, exactly what North Tonawanda, Coach Dave Anastasi and his staff didn't want to see happen here. Is let North Tonawanda or let Jamestown get right back into the football game. If North Tonawanda had not held on that play, imagine if they could have gotten off 14-0. Second down and 7 from the 23-yard line. Larson looking over the defense. A wrong count. It's the first man.
Ball carrier is Kevin Senior.
Senior, who lined up as the front man in the I formation now. That's a little unusual for a player that's as small as Senior to be up that close. He's only a 150-pounder.
Very, very quick, though, and he got to the hole quickly. Kyle Mall, with the arm tackle, was able to trip him up as he penetrated the line of scrimmage. And they're going to give him about 4 yards. Looks like a 3rd and 3 coming up here. So Senior really the workhorse. He's carried 7 times already in this ball game for 26 yards.
3rd down and 3. The clock running with 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Katie is to the right. Now they reset the backs. Senior in the backfield along with Brightman. It's Brightman on a straight dive, and Brightman trying for the first down yardage. No, I think he's a little short.
I think you're right. Now this is 4-down territory, though, for a strong offensive unit like the Red Raiders. He is going to be short. They needed 3. He got 2 on the play.
4th down and 1.
Now, one break that we had, Frank, in 2 weeks, the big TNT game has been moved up to a 6 o'clock start for you folks that are going to go out and watch that game in Tonawanda, North Tonawanda and Tonawanda. That'll be a little bit more comfortable that evening. Tonight, it's very cold. And by the time this one's over after the long halftime festivities, there's going to be a lot of chilly folks. And it is 4th down and a yard. Jamestown down, quarterback sneak, and they might have stopped him.
Oh, my.
On the mark.
Hang on. Let's see what the spot is. No signal from the officials.
Jacks are coming off the field.
Hang on, though. It's close. Depends on the forward progress. I think they want to measure. Let's wait and see. Can't make any assumptions because you never know about the forward progress.
Mole is already coming off the field. That's Brian Mole, the right tackle. Larson says they've got it by a little
Quarterback keeper in a tremendous surge through the line of scrimmage by the left tackle or nose guard for the defense.
Watch the stretch out here.
Ooh, that's close. Look at this. Oh, my.
Home field advantage.
Wow.
That was a very, very close mark.
No doubt about it. A terrific defensive job, though. You'd figure a quarterback could just fall forward and get that yard. Well, he couldn't even get off the line of scrimmage because of the penetration by the defense that time. So Larson is held to a half-a-yard pickup on the play. And North Tonawanda starts back.
Well, it did look from the initial call and the replay that he was stopped short. And that's the way it ended up. So it's turned over on downs to North Tonawanda. In motion left is York, and Mahoney to pass late in the first quarter. Looks for York. He dropped the ball. And right in his midsection at the 34.
What a gun arm for the quarterback. Ball at the 16-yard line. He was out over the 30 with reception time and ball in his arms and room to go. Look at this replay. Quarterback can't do any more than this.
I think he's looking for 6 points on this one, York.
Boom, he lays it out there, and wow. Well, you'll remember that one.
And beating on the coverage, Terry Garvin.
The crowd is abuzz, though. They like the exciting offensive strategy for Dave Anastasi.
You know, sometimes you get so excited as a receiver. I think that York might have been looking for a touchdown and trying to run before he caught the ball, took his eye off of it. Pass, quick one caught. Well, the short passes,
Tough time to catch
Geibel
one
on
there.
the reception. The short passes, the Red Raiders are defending excellently.
Number 24, Terry Garvin.
Number 44 in on the tackle for Jamestown is Aaron Jesse. Just a short pickup on
The play.
Well, they did pick up 4, and that will be the final play of the first quarter as we're down to 5 seconds remaining.
That was
Unless
Geibel on the reception?
Yes, Geibel on the reception, unless they get it off very quickly. And they will not, as the horn sounds, and the first quarter has come to a conclusion. And it's a good one for the home team. The end of 1 quarter of play, the score, North Tonawanda Lumberjacks 7, Jamestown Red Raiders nothing. We'll be right back.
Anyone leaving the stadium will have to pay.
There's something to shout about on ESPN. Hawkins may go all the way. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Sack time. Top teams from every conference all season long. Bracken could go all the way. And he does. Touchdown, Duke. Something to stand up and shout about. College football live Saturdays on ESPN.
And we are looking at second quarter action about to start. 3rd down and 6 coming up for North Tonawanda in their traditional red tops, the red uniforms, and the Jacks center over the ball, Mike Zook. 2 receivers out to the right. Mahoney to pass, looks, throws, caught by Zayas. He breaks a tackle, and he has the first down up to the 38-yard line. The official there talking to one of the offensive linemen for the Lumberjacks, too, giving him a few pointers. It is a first down for Zayas, and let's watch the exciting replay. Mahoney fires, Zayas on the catch, spins away, and picks up the first down yardage. My colleague Frank Stewart busy tabulating the statistics. And that is a first down. They went from the, no, I'm not quite sure of the yardage there. They went up to the 37-yard line. A first down play. In motion, York left. Mahoney to pass again. He throws the long ball, and it's too far. And York was out there.
This is wild. This is wild.
York was wide open, wide open. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. Frank, the original line of scrimmage, they went up to the 37 from that pass play.
I got a 17-yard reception for Zayas.
Okay.
The ball was at the 16 for the first carry of the drive start, and then they attempted the short 4-yard pass. The one over the middle obviously was dropped. The key 3rd down reception for 17 yards, and look at that play. That was close to a touchdown.
Well, York, an excellent receiver. He'll play running back, flanker, or split end. And he was wide open there, but too far by Mahoney. Again, they pass. Screen pass. York's got it. Looking for a block. Gets it. Beautiful blocking. York near the sticks and close to a first down. And he really read his blocking beautifully there on that play. He waited for the initial block, as you'll see on the replay, and he cut back and made an excellent gain.
3rd down and 1.
Watch him wait.
Super play. And York is going to be just short of the first down, so it's going to be a 3rd and a yard situation, a 9-yard pickup for York on the reception. And now Ed Mahoney has completed 6 passes in 11 attempts, or 5 passes in 11 attempts, excuse me.
Well, the way Mahoney's throwing and the way Jamestown is covering on defense, if Jamestown, you're going to be short of the first down by about a foot. If Jamestown does not make any adjustments, Frank, to the passing game, Mahoney's going to have a huge night.
Well, the line protection's been tremendous. He hasn't been under a lot of duress just yet. They have to figure out how to put more pressure on him, not allow him time to throw. Because as you know, Walt, the receivers just have terrific skill, and they're able to just get to the open seam if they have enough time to get away from the defensive backs.
And the halfbacks or covermen for Jamestown, with the 5-6 guys on the line of scrimmage, are not covering that well in the secondary. The short passes aren't hurting them, but the downfield passes are.
Just a correction, Mahoney is 5 of 10 passing so far in this game.
3rd down and a foot. The ball resting near the 47-yard line. And let's see if we see a rare running play for the North Tonawanda club. Years ago, they were nothing but run, run, run. Mahoney on the sneak. Flags are down. And this might be a procedure call on the offense. Let's wait for the officials.
I think you might be right. Could be a false start. There it is. 5-yard penalty against NT.
And again, back to the penalty when York caught the big first down on the hold, Frank.
Exactly right.
Teams not playing well make mistakes.
The first quarter statistics, as we compiled them for you, they're unofficial, of course, but pretty accurate. The 2 first downs for both teams, 57 yards rushing to 18 for the NT attack. No passing for Jamestown. They don't like to throw the ball all that much, but NT will put it up at any time and anywhere on the field. You see the totals, no turnovers on either club, and the penalties, just one in that first quarter. That was the 10-yarder that wiped out the big gain that NT had.
3rd down and 5 now. Mahoney to pass. Swanson on the rush. Throw and incomplete. Tough catch. York again. He was open again. Pass was a good pass, just good coverage and a very difficult catch.
And I got to tell you that Brightman, number 29, was as close to getting an interception if he had looked for the ball as you can get the ball. Hit him inside the shoulder near the arm. That's all he had to do was wrap it up if he'd been looking at the ball. Instead, he had his eyes glued to the receiver on the play.
Mahoney to kick it away. Almost blocked. Katie back deep. Katie's got it at the 22-yard line. Nice move. Outside to the 25, 30, 35 into the 36. A beautiful juke move when Katie took the ball initially at the 22-yard line.
Boy, a significant return, too, as he's going to get out over the 35-yard line. At least 15 yards on the return there, and punting, that's a nice return.
Well, as you know, Frank, you do not let Jamestown hang around in a football game because they'll wear you out by the 4th quarter.
Jamestown officially going to get the ball marked at the 35, where he literally flew out of bounds under tackle.
Well, I'd like to see Ed Mahoney play on that artificial surface with his passing game at Jamestown.
Well, this track is just as good as that one, though, tonight.
Yes, the field, by the way, is in excellent condition. Beautifully marked, everything. We'll talk about that after this play. It really is very professionally done here. Larson on a handoff, and Senior breaks a tackle and gets out to the 39, maybe the 40-yard line. The field, as you look down at it, you sort of take it for granted because we're here, but it is in excellent shape. It's groomed perfectly, and it's lined perfectly.
Yeah, it's crowned right in the middle there, too, so the water just simply rolls right off to the sidelines and out of harm's way. Significant carry there for Senior. Looked like he was touched a couple of times as he got to the line of scrimmage, but was able to elude tacklers. He's a terrific runner. And when he has the opportunity to go with the ball, about 4 yards, let's say 3.5 yards picked up on the play.
All right, we'll call it 2nd down and 6. Full house backfield. Jamestown will run at least 4 or 5 running backs at you the entire game. Larson to pass, wide open, and it's overthrown.
What the heck was Brightman doing?
Well,
By himself, he took his eyes off the ball momentarily to see where the defensive back was, and he lost a step on that move.
All right, I thought he had overthrown it, but Brightman got his hands on it, and apparently what you're saying, he's looking around and lost a step.
You almost have to see the replays. The ball will probably float right into our picture. See, now watch. There he looked. You see that temporary look, that stop, look upfield to see if anybody was coming near him, and it slowed him down just enough where he couldn't recover concentration on the football.
Yeah, the quarterback put it to where he thought he was going to run. And I'll tell you, right in the defensive secondary was Trevor Zayats. He was very close to the play, but Brightman still should have been able to catch that ball. 3rd down and 6. Larson to pass again. Good protection. Fires. It's caught for the 1st down. Inside the 50, down to the 47. That's Bloomquist.
13 yards.
Jeff Bloomquist. He's a junior. Another 160-pound player at 5'11".
13 yards, and hey, where's all this passing coming from now? That's 2 passes in a row. They get the 1st down on that one as the quarterback cranks it up 2 times in a row to try to show the North Tonawanda team that they can play as well. This is a good offensive strategy, though. If you've got a quarterback that can put the ball on the mark, even just a couple of passes will loosen up that defense and open up the running game. 1st and 10,
as you see on the screen from the 47-yard line of North Tonawanda. The score, if you just joined us, is North Tonawanda 7, Jamestown nothing. Quick hitter in the middle. Good defense. Senior for 2 yards to the 45.
Number 33, Tom Britt. Number 76.
Britt, 33 in on the stop, along with Brian Mall, 76.
Boy, just a yard picked up there for Senior, who's got to be averaging better than 5 yards a carry. And right now, he's being held to 30 yards on 9 carries.
Senior 550 yards this year, 6 touchdowns. Jamestown has shown that they could pass the football. Let's see what they do on 2nd down and long from the 45. Full house backfield. And a rushing play. And it's Senior again. Caught and dropped at the line of scrimmage.
Great tackling there. Number 81 with the initial hit. Brzbilski low, and teammate coming up to give some assistance. Tom Britt, it looks like number 33. No gain on the play. And again, the strategy is go right to the running back. You see number 39 getting taken out of the play very well with a good block, but that allows the penetration or the pursuit to get into the play as Senior has to take a fake, make a fake, before he can get back to the line of scrimmage.
Big 3rd down play. 9 coming up for the 1st down yardage. The ball now resting at the 46 of North Tonawanda. North Tonawanda leading number 1 Jamestown, number 1 in Western New York, 7-0. Larson the pass. Rolling right, throws. It's incomplete.
Is that the monster man, number 81 on the play?
Well, that's the safety, Brzbilski.
Brzbilski ran all over the field before the quarterback even got the center snap, looking for the right spot. And I got to tell you, he played tremendous defense that time, anticipating where the ball was going. They also got a little help because the lineman rolled out with the quarterback and did not allow him to cross the line of scrimmage and try and run for the 1st down.
And the intended receiver was Katie, who was well covered, as Frank mentioned. And I thought Larson had enough time maybe to pull that one down and run for yardage. Looked like he had a lot of green in front of him.
Taylor for Jamestown.
Taylor back deep.
Darren and Darren, 80 and 82.
Katie to kick it, Taylor to center it, or Taylor to kick it rather, and the kick almost blocked. And it's taken at the 15-yard line. And that is number 80, Geibel, up to the 30. Broke a tackle at the 25 and got to the 30-yard line.
About an 11-yard return there. A super effort as he broke 3 or 4 tackles. North Tonawanda's number 80, Darren Geibel's having a pretty good night so far, offensively and defensively. The 5'10", 165-pound senior playing a whale of a game.
And not a time for North Tonawanda to sit on the lead, leading 7-0 with 7:30 to go in the 1st half in good field position.
This is very shocking. I don't know if they can hold their quarterback's arm down, though. You don't want to take his concentration away either. He's ready to fire at any time.
Well, they have not shown much of a running game, have they, Frank?
No, they haven't. They haven't tried it that much.
And there's the running play. And good yardage this time, about 7. Kyle Mull, the fullback. Did we call his number before?
I don't think so. No. I got to tell you, just 3 rushing plays so far in the ball game as opposed to 12 passing attempts.
And if you memory serves me right, it was the first 3 plays of the game that Tom Finicky carried the football.
Well, that's correct. And you got to figure if they're going to run the ball 12 times to 4 times or 3 times rushing, that's a significant percentage. And defensively, that's going to be really tiring to chase the quarterback, chase the receivers all over the field.
Now, who's the tailback in there now? Is that Finicky? Because when Finicky's in, they run. Now, the other guy's in York, and he's in motion right. But they still run, and it's Mull for the 1st down. I believe he's got the 1st down of the 41-yard line.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he needed the yard, and the officials are marking it past the 8-yard mark. So Mull, the running back, gets enough for the 1st down. Keeping the drive alive, the 4th 1st down of this 1st half for NT. The clock continues to move.
At halftime, we are expecting an interview guest. We're going to try and pick up some of the band coverage. So we'll keep it right here for a little bit of extended coverage on Hall of Fame evening from North Tonawanda Field. I formation, 41. Mahoney to pass. Mahoney throws long ball, and it's incomplete. Mike Brzbilski was out there.
Flag down where the quarterback threw the ball. Let's see what the call is going to be. I think it's going to be a roughing call.
There's a flag on the play.
Well, Mahoney, again, overshot a wide-open receiver, Brzbilski.
Well, I got to tell you, again, it's a roughing the passer call, and that's going to hurt Jamestown badly. But I think the receiver that time turned and looked for the ball instead of continuing his route, and as he took 2 or 3 steps looking back, he slowed down just enough where the ball wasn't there. Quarterback hangs the ball out there, you got to run and get it. That's the strategy on a long pass.
I'll tell you what, folks. Frank, folks, everybody out there,
yes,
these receivers are wide open for North Tonawanda.
Running some nice pass
wide open. 44-yard line, 1st and 10, North Tonawanda.
10-yard penalty against Jamestown, their 1st of the ball game.
We tipped you off at the start of the game that North Tonawanda would have a good shot at winning this football game, but I didn't think it'd be this easy right now. Yeah. 7-0 and driving again. Leading Jamestown, but it's a long way to go. And here's Mull, and Mull is stopped after a yard gain.
Bent over as well on the play, and we hope he's not seriously hurt. He's down, face down on the turf, as you can see. He gets to his feet.
Number 68 assisting John.
Looks like he's in a little bit of duress there.
You really wouldn't expect Jamestown to be scoreless, too, with 5 minutes and change remaining in the first half. They're a pretty high-powered offensive machine.
No doubt about it. You don't get to be ranked #1 without really impressing the folks, and their defense has impressed a lot of people here, just allowing us 7 points through the first 5 games, while scoring a ton, really.
Zayats has got double coverage to the right. Now it will be single as York is in motion that way, and that's where they're going to pass it. Mahoney throws, Zayats got it. Great catch, great move for the end zone. And down inside the 10, I want to tell you, that was a classic catch and run. The #1 combination in Western New York, could it be Mahoney and Zayats?
36-yard pass and a fingertip catch as the quarterback's under pressure. He takes a pop look at that off the fingertips, and a good move to break the arm tackle, and finally a touchdown-saving tackle from behind. But 36 yards for Zayats on the reception, his second reception of this ball game. And they are on the move looking for some big points here in this first half.
And it looked like it was Kerry Garvin who saved the touchdown after Taylor made a missed tackle, and Zayats was able to get free for the long gain. First down play. Here is Mull, and Mull is cracked down at the 6-yard line.
Before being stopped by number 44.
Line of scrimmage, the 8. Second down and goal coming up.
Very, very impressive. And you got to figure that the Jamestown defense has not been stretched like this at all this season. Hasn't seen anything close to like this kind of an offensive attack all year. And credit Ed Mahoney, putting the ball on the mark. 6 completions in 13 attempts so far, and he is very close to 100 yards in this ball game passing, with the 1 touchdown to his credit already.
You know, Frank, how we make our preparations for the game and talk to the coaches. Dave Anastasi was the head coach here at North Tonawanda previous to this year. And now he's come back. He was not on the coaching staff last year. He's come back as a second-term head coach here. And he told me on the phone that they expected to win the football game. And, you know, when you talk to a coach on the phone, they all pump up their team, or most of them do. And, you know, listening to Dave, they had a lot of confidence coming into this game against a tough Jamestown team. He said they really should be 4-1 the way they've been playing, but they've had a lot of bad breaks.
Well, the way they're playing thus far, they demonstrate to you that they can play with the best. Right now, at least through this first half of action with 4:43 to go, they're looking to get their second score up on the board. It's sometimes confidence and, you know, the talent level of your team. It's just a matter of putting it together, and unfortunately, they happen to lose a couple of games where they possibly should have won them.
Second down and goal. It's spotted at the 7-yard line. Mahoney with the receiver out, flanked to the left from the pro formation. Fakes the ball, rolls, throws, and it's caught. Touchdown! And that's Geibel, Darren Geibel for the score. And it's upset city here at 13-0. Well, we still got a long way to go, but things look pretty good for North Tonawanda.
This is unbelievable. You know, we tend to get the exaggerated words, but this is really unbelievable.
You gotta believe.
Absolutely.
Lumberjacks 13-0. And it's Mahoney. That's the point, partially blocked, and it's no good. And that could be a telling factor by the end of this game. But the way North Tonawanda is shredding, shredding the secondary, or the Jamestown pass defense, let's put it that way, they're in great shape in this game.
Look at the replay of this as Mahoney just waited for the receiver to get open on the out pattern. They ran a pick play, and the defensive back kind of got lost in the shuffle there. And Geibel just waited for him to go and get lost in that, and he broke it to the outside. He was wide open. An easy pass for Mahoney, who just lofted it out there, let him run to the ball.
Geibel comes up with a touchdown reception. Brzezowski earlier had a touchdown reception. Touchdown number 13 on the year, and only 5 INTs for the quarterback, Ed Mahoney. Let's take a look at Ed Mahoney a little bit further here. We're sort of talking all about North Tonawanda and not that much about Jamestown, because North Tonawanda is winning the game, obviously. 5'11", 175-pound senior who is a Division I punting prospect. I wonder if he's much of a Division I or Division II quarterback prospect.
There he is kicking off. He's 7 for 14 in the ball game for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns already.
And here it is from the 10-yard line. Senior they put back there. He breaks it. and he almost went all the way. He got out to the 35, and Senior, if he was not hit at the 30-yard line, might have broken that for a touchdown run, Frank.
Tremendous blocking out in front of him. As they really popped the NT players, the kickoff return team really doing a good job opening the hole up the middle of the field. Now watch some of these NT players get rocked back as the ball will come down. Maybe we'll see the blocking up front on the return, but watch some of these guys get popped. There's a fellow going down backwards, and you see players flying all over, and finally, 3 players have to wrap up Senior, but there's time for Jamestown to score, and they may want to start throwing the ball.
35-yard line. Coach Wally Hucknall said, we need this football game. He put Senior, his star tailback, who normally doesn't return kickoffs, back there. Long ball, caught. Katie. Katie breaks tackles. Touchdown, Jamestown.
Flag
Katie, and a flag on the play.
At the line of scrimmage, there's a flag down. Hold it again.
64 yards, and it looks like it's coming back.
Unbelievable.
It's coming back.
Unbelievable.
Man, oh man. What a throw. Catch, run. How do you take that one off the board?
Oh, and the Jamestown Red Raiders are shocked. Players can't believe it. They thought they had the touchdown. An electrifying play. In reality, a super throw by Larson. Let him throw some more, Coach. He hangs the ball up there, and the defender tripped and stumbled. Zayats on the play, allowed the ball to float over his head, and number 37 just fires out Mike Katie to the end zone.
Great catch. Terrific spin move there, and Guybo missed the tackle.
Let's wait and see what the call is going to be. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll get the signal from the official, I'm sure. And it looked like a hold. Yes, it is. There it is on your screen as Don Burns gives it to you. Second penalty, 10 yards against Jamestown, and they've both been consequential penalties. One was a roughing the quarterback penalty on an incomplete pass.
Now that might be the biggest penalty of the night before this night's over. From the 25, Larson on a draw. Senior hit and drop. Short gain. And it's Kyle Mole, 36, the linebacker, in on the stop.
We want to demonstrate the textbook tackle on a quick running back. Let's see if we have a replay on it, because we're going to see one. Shoulder, helmet, lined up at the legs, the knees of the running back, and just drive him, pick him up, and put him to the turf.
You know, Kyle Mole, 36, made the tackle. He's a linebacker. The right tackle is Brian Mole, 76. No relation. Same last name. M-O-L-L. Second down, very long. Larson the pass. Long ball out here, thrown away. Down on the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks bench area. It was thrown away near the 45.
Third down.
Boy, they're pumped up. That's Mahoney.
They ran a deep pattern up the sideline, then they ran a down and out for the other wide receiver. I think it was Katie to the near sideline, and Katie was double covered. Good stretch defense that time. Good coverage on the wide receivers for the NT Lumberjacks.
And if you just joined us, North Tonawanda leading 13-0.
Hey, they're not through yet in this first half of action. 3:21 to go on the clock. 3rd and 18 here.
Good call, Frank. If they stop them, they get the ball back.
And start firing that football.
As quick as Katie and Larson teamed up for a 64-yard touchdown, that's as quickly as it was called back because of the holding call. 3rd and long.
Larson back to
Larson rolling right. He's going to run the football, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 32.
Not enough there, obviously, as he needed 18 yards. He was probably fortunate to get the 5 that he got.
3 yards, a run of 3 yards.
And if this was a live broadcast, Hyman and St. Joe's would be sleeping well, the players tonight, because they could be playing for the #1 spot in Western New York. In that big ball game at St. Joe's on this Saturday afternoon.
A lot of excitement. Mahoney cranking it up along the near sideline, getting that arm ready to throw as the punt team is out there.
Kicker Jackson in. Returnman back for North Tonawanda at the 45-yard line. Hartman, good kick to the 42. Hartman backpedals. 40. Midfield, 48-yard line. And he's dragged down by Terry Garvin.
Terry Garvin saved a significant return. It was a terrific effort anyway. For Darren Hartman, the senior, 5'8", 160 pounds, as he comes to the sideline, he had room to go. Let's watch the tackle here. It's going to be an arm tackle at the ankles that slows him down. 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards. Right there is where he's tripped up finally. Otherwise, he had a wall of blockers in front of him going for more.
And I guarantee you one thing, 2:55 to go, Frank. You probably concur with me on this. They will not sit on the lead.
Nah, go for it.
In motion right, York. Passing offense in. Running play, Mole. Short yardage. A yard, maybe 2.
But a yard gain.
And look at the crowd. They want the pass. They want the ball in the air, Frank. Fans can't understand it. They want blood out here. Up 13-0, and they want to stretch that lead out.
Mahoney getting signals from his coaches for North Tonawanda, and they put together a nice game plan. We should talk about them if we have the opportunity. The defense is playing very well. The quarterback's calling the right calls.
2nd down and 9, but again, we remind you, it's only the first half, and Jamestown is the #1 team in Western New York. They can come back. Mahoney back to pass, throws, and it's caught by the tight end. First down. Beautiful catch and run by Przbilski. Mike Przbilski, and they're shredding that secondary. You know, they're killing him with the long stuff, but the short passing game very effective too.
12-yard reception there. As we look at it again, this is a good catch though. Look at this. Przbilski goes up high, and then he makes a nice move to get away from the first tackler and takes the ball upfield.
Well, a nightmare for Coach Wally Hucknall's Jamestown Red Raiders defensive squad this first half. He's got to be looking at a lot of missed tackles there on the tape when they watch this back. That's not normally their game. Mahoney to pass. Long ball. York! He's got it! Out of bounds.
Oh, that
Just out of bounds.
So close. Remember, high school is just 1 foot in bounds.
And York really turned around the defensive back there.
He just outran him up the field. The defensive back, number 11, trying to stay with him is Jeff Bloomquist. If you see the replay, this is going to be very, very close to being a catch in bounds. I don't know if we'll have it or not because of the camera location. It's a little bit tough to pick everything up here. But boy, that was very, very close to being a 1 foot inbounds catch.
That's all you need is 1 foot.
Official made the call right away, though, so he was certain of his effort.
But wide open was York. 2nd down and 10. Here comes York in motion again to the right side. Mahoney back to pass. Screen pass. Well designed play. And Mo breaks tackles and is down to the 31-yard line. And they might be in field goal range right now because they've got an outstanding kicker in Mahoney. Right now it would be a 48-yard attempt.
About 6 yards for York on the reception as he heads back to the huddle. Down to 1:15. The clock is moving. A 3rd down play coming up. As you said, he can kick it from here.
I would think he might be able to reach from 48. That's asking a lot.
Boy, they let a lot of clock run down, about 15 seconds there before they got the timeout.
Well, I'll tell you what, Frank. Dave Anastasi, they came into this game confident. He's coming out on the field to talk to his team, but if you told him, look, you'll have the ball at the 31-yard line, 3rd and 2, late in the first half, and you'll be 3rd down and 5, and you'll be leading the game by 13 points. I don't know if he'd think that that would have happened.
Well, you know how the coaches are. Of course that's the way it's going to be. Well, the Jamestown sideline, not much to cheer about over there, but look at this, they're rocking and rolling in North Tonawanda tonight. The band sounds particularly good tonight, though, don't they?
Well, we've got a lot of calls already before we were going to put this game on to try and get coverage of the band. Talking to our program director, Rick Harnett, and our producer of these broadcasts. And at halftime, we are going to feature the band and bring you some coverage of them.
And Wally Hucknall has called his entire defense over to the far sideline. He's impressing upon them that they cannot fall behind by 3 scores in this football game and expect to come back. Very, very difficult on the high school level to recover from 3 scores behind.
Yes, it is, but I think if any team can do it, the Jamestown Red Raiders can.
Well, let me just double check on their totals for offense this year. They're playing a different type team here tonight.
You know, if North Tonawanda would win this football game, Orchard Park would be the lone undefeated team.
Jamestown has scored 133 points already in 5 games this year, but they're scoreless so far in this one.
Orchard Park would be the lone undefeated team in Division I. And that would be a key contest when Orchard Park and Jamestown play in the last game of the season.
Absolutely. A lot of single coverage again out there.
3rd down 5, 31-yard line. Mahoney to pass. Offensive line has been brilliant. Pass is away and incomplete. Well overthrown. Zayats was out there and well covered. And again, Frank, that's a point we should make too. The offensive line has done some great work here for NT.
Got to mention their names. They've done a tremendous job. Mahoney has only been hit once, and that was a roughing call after he released the pass.
Well, it's left tackle, Sean Brosis. Greer, the left guard, Tim Greer. Mike Zook, the center. Cerrito, Ed Cerrito, the right guard. and Pete Marquardt, the right tackle. Of course, Brzebilski, the tight end. Seward and Brian Moll and Zalewski all have been in there. They're going to go for it.
No field goal tries, so obviously they don't think he can reach from that point, but this is a key 4th down for them.
Key play for
so
Jamestown, too. They'd like to stay in this game. Mahoney, a long ball, and it is tapped and incomplete. Katie, good coverage, and we've got a flag in the backfield.
Well, it's going to be declined, I'm sure, on the possession calls. It's going to go against the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks, but they'll just turn the ball over to Jamestown on downs there. So Jamestown will trot their offense out and take possession with 52 seconds to go here in this second quarter.
You know, usually when we come out to this stadium, it's all a wintry day or blowing or raining, and it's cold tonight. We always seem to come when the weather's cold out here. And maybe because it's late in the season when we come out to MT.
We always find good games out here. Very exciting football.
Remember when we had the snow-covered field?
Oh, that was incredible. Just incredible.
52 seconds to go. First half, 13-0 NT. And Jamestown, will they sit on it here and just go in down 13 at halftime, Frank, or you think they'll try and move the football?
It's hard to say, Walt. You want to maybe get in without giving up a turnover.
They run it. Senior, he stopped for a yard gain. That's it.
I think that's not bad strategy. In fact, I agree with this entirely.
Larson's calling a timeout.
Well, something Wally Hucknall must have told him was, let's see what we can get with one ground play, maybe try and throw a pass. But I don't know how effective that would be if they throw the ball upfield and have one picked off. They're always in danger of losing a bomb back the other way because Mahoney can crank it up. And as you said, Walt, the receivers have been wide open.
Yeah, they went safe to Senior. He's a game-breaking type of runner. He can go 80 yards, and Brightman can go 80 yards.
Then why call the timeout's the question, right?
Well, try one quick running play, a pop play to Senior, and then call a timeout. If he doesn't break it, you call a quick timeout, and you go to your passing game.
Risky business, I think, with the passing attack. But high school is always exciting.
You probably haven't given enough credit to the North Tonawanda defense in this game. They had given up 28 points to Lockport and 28 to Orchard Park. We did 25 to West Seneca East in their 3 losses, so that's some heavy scores. And I don't know if the defense was at fault in all those points, but that's what they gave up.
It does raise your eyebrows to hear those kind of numbers. They're looking very, very tough tonight.
They gave up the lone score to Jamestown on a long passing play. Katie, 64 yards, nullified by a holding penalty.
Second down and 9. The ball at the 32.
Out to the left is Taylor, the tight end. I formation. 42 seconds to go. Larson back in the pocket. Scrambling hit, and dropped. Finally dropped at the 20.
I didn't like the way he was holding that ball out there. Very dangerous situation for the quarterback to maybe be looking to give up a turnover. Line of scrimmage was the 32-yard line, and now Jamestown calls another timeout on the 12-yard loss of the sack.
Let's take a look at the replay as he was hit initially, and it was about 3 seconds later finally sacked.
Just watch how he's holding that ball. Right there is where he puts it out a little bit with the left hand, and that's where I thought things got a little risky for Jamestown. You never know if it's anybody's behind you looking to whack the ball free, and if you got it with one hand, there's no protection on the ball. So a significant loss of 12 yards on the play. Back to the 21-yard line. Well, let's mark it, make it an 11-yard loss. On the sack. 26 seconds to go. Jamestown calls a timeout. And they're down to a 3rd down situation. Now, if NT has any timeouts remaining after this play, they may want to take one to see if they can get a punt return.
Jamestown called the timeout.
Jamestown called their 2nd timeout after the sack.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense with 26 seconds to go from your own 20-yard line.
I agree with you. I'm surprised at this. They're backing up on these plays. It's 3rd and 20.
Wow, 3rd and 20. NT will take a quick timeout if they stop him on this play. And here's the running play to Senior. He's bottled up and breaks tackles at the line of scrimmage. Almost fumbled that football. He's out to the 31. A fine run by Senior. Nearly 10 yards on the play, and NT uses a quick timeout. 12 seconds to go in the half.
It wasn't that quick, but they did get the timeout call.
It'll bring up 4th down.
And the ball was marked at the 21, so let's see what they give Senior. 10 yards on the carry. He's been bottled up very effectively so far in this game. 13 carries for 44 yards is what I have him for. And with 4th down, 4th and 11, you got to kick the ball away. And you never know. If they get a quick enough return or a good enough return, Mahoney can throw the long one time. Anything could happen.
Key run by Senior because they would have been punting from 10 more yards back. And if you fair catch a punt, you can try a field goal uncontested.
Free kick, they call that.
Free kick, right. And I would think NT and their coaching staff is thinking, block the punt. They're going to send everybody in.
Let's see how they line up. One man obviously back in case the ball is kicked.
Taylor to kick it away.
And I don't see everybody up on the line of scrimmage, so it doesn't look like they're going to go for the ball.
Katie will center it. Taylor at the 15-yard line. High snap. Zayat tried for the block, and he just missed. Fair catch. And this would be a 63-yarder, and I don't think they'll try it. Actually, a 73-yarder.
That's right.
Line with 5 seconds remaining. The clock will
That's a little bit out of his range. 5 seconds to go.
Zayat came very close to that ball. And a good long kick for the punter. Give him some credit for Jamestown. As he got out of the way under some pressure and managed to get some good distance on the ball. The line of scrimmage was at 31. So let's give him at least a 42-yard punt with that kick.
This might be the final play of the first half, and it's getting colder and colder by the minute here. The fans love it because the home team's up 13-0. Quarterback falls to one knee, Mahoney. Final play of the half. The horn sound. North Tonawanda Lumberjack players very enthusiastically waving to the crowd as they head off the field. And the home team, the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks, in a shocker here at halftime, lead the #1 ranked team in Western New York, the Jamestown Red Raiders, by 13-0. Well, let me tell you, the first half scoring went this way. The North Tonawanda team got on the board first in the first quarter. A 24-yard touchdown pass to Przybylski, the tight end, capped a 42-yard drive at 4:38. The first quarter, Mike Przybylski catching the touchdown pass, the 12th of the year from Mahoney. Mahoney added the extra point. It was 7-0. And then in the second quarter, Geibel grabbed a 7-yard touchdown pass from Mahoney. The extra point was deflected and no good. 13-0, the 13th touchdown pass of the year for Mahoney. And that made it 13-0. Jamestown countered as they scored on a 64-yard touchdown pass play to Katie, but that was nullified by a holding call, and that came back. It came back, and it was wiped off the board, and it remained 13-0. And that's the way it stands at halftime. 13-0. North Tonawanda over Jamestown. Well, we want to talk about the coaching staffs of the two teams if we could, as Frank Stewart is compiling the first half statistics. Head coach is Dave Anastasi. 23 years he's been coaching. Previous 7 years as a head coach for North Tonawanda. Back for a second term, and this is his first year coaching in the second term as a head coach. His assistants are Doug DeLuca, Fran Burke, Les Sheasley, and Ron Hopkins, and they're all enjoying this game so far.
Absolutely so. As you said, Walt, the 2 touchdown scoring, one in the first quarter at 7:45, and the 24-yard scoring pass from Mahoney to Przybylski. That capped a 42-yard drive with the point after being good. The second coming in the second quarter with 4:38 to go. In the second quarter, a 7-yard touchdown pass to Darren Geibel, and that kept a 70-yard drive, and the point after was no good, so we're at 13-0. Individual statistics in this first half of action. The quarterback, Mahoney, has attempted 19 passes in the ball game. He has completed 9 for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. A terrific night on his part. The running back for the North Tonawanda team, there's been 2 of them. Kyle Malls rushed 5 times for 15 yards, and Finicky has carried the ball 3 times for 18 yards. Receivers, Mike Przybylski's caught 3 for 34 yards, including a touchdown. Trevor Zayats has caught 2 for 53 yards. Darren Geibel's caught 2 for 11 yards, including a touchdown, and Rich York has caught 2 for 15 yards in the 9 receptions that have been completed by Ed Mahoney. On the Jamestown side of the ball, their rushing game has been dominated by Kevin Senior with 13 carries for 44 yards, and Ryan Brightman has carried 3 times for 26. The quarterback, Larson, rushed twice for 5. Katie carried once for 5, and the quarterback was sacked for an 11-yard loss so far, and he completed just 1 of 4 passes in the ball game that he's attempted. He had a couple called back on penalties, and The one reception was made by Jeff Bloomquist for 13 yards. And let's look at the team statistics, and then we'll be able to watch the band as we close out this first half of our coverage. But let's put up the team statistics if we have them ready. There you see it for Jamestown. 3 first downs, North Tonawanda with 7. 80 yards rushing to 33, 113 to 13 in the passing totals in favor of NT. There's your yardage totals. A little bit of a surprise as Jamestown hasn't had their offense get on track yet. No turnovers for each team. That's been significant in this ball game. And just 2 penalties on Jamestown for 20, but both of them hurt them badly, as one was a touchdown callback on a holding penalty by the offensive line, and another one was a drive continuation in which they roughed the North Tonawanda quarterback. Just 2 penalties for North Tonawanda for 15 yards.
Well, a little bit of a surprise at halftime. We're going to take a look at the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks marching band in just a moment. John Chisera, the athletic director here at North Tonawanda, we're hopeful of having him or someone else for an interview, but it doesn't appear that we'll have that. We gave the coaching staff for NT, let me tell you, the Jamestown coaching staff, head coach Wally Hucknall, his assistants Joe Diamio, Gary Peters, Tom Phillips. And Frank, we should be in for a treat at home looking at this band. The score at halftime, 13-0. A little bit of a surprise here, and you can't count Jamestown out in the second half, but things look like a North Tonawanda night being Hall of Fame night. The 13-0 lead, everything's going well.
I think their strategists have to go back to the old chalkboard in the locker room and try and figure out how to get their ground game to open up a little bit more and pick up significant yardage. They've been able to get one good carry perhaps in each drive, but then they've been thwarted on key plays. Remember the 4th down hold that NT had when Jamestown was driving for a touchdown down around the 15 or 20 yard line, and North Tonawanda held him on a 4th down play with terrific penetration. The 4th and 1 didn't click for him. And then look at the other situation when they had the long pass for the touchdown. It's better than 65 yards, I believe, and it's called back on a holding call. They just got to get their offense in sync, otherwise they would have been in a tie ball game.
Well, football's the main part of the evening here, and it's a good one. 13-0 at halftime, North Tonawanda leading Jamestown, but also pageantry, bands, students, faculty members, and parents, and just fans in general enjoying the game are part of football too. So we'll leave you at halftime, and let's take a couple of minutes at least and take a look at this great band, the North Tonawanda Lumberjack Marching Band. What?
Go in the field with you. Absolutely not. We're watching the ball game right now.
For what?
You just want a hot dog.
I ain't got to go to bed.
He's taking to the field. Go ahead.
Days of October mean red-hot action on ESPN. Baseball Tonight covers the race for the pennant every night. Top teams show their true colors on live college football Saturdays. And every Sunday, NFL Game Day and NFL Primetime cover the pro scene. Top players go for broke in 2 of the PTA Tour's richest tournaments. And the auto racing season charges toward a fabulous finish. October sizzles on ESPN.
Halftime score, North Tonawanda leading Jamestown 13-0. We're going to pick up the voice of PA man Dick Grapes now with the Hall of Fame introduction.
Retired to a life of hunting, fishing, gardening, and canoeing. Ladies and gentlemen, may we present Hall of Famer, Mr. Lou Perry. Our second inductee played in football from 1948 to 1950. He was a varsity starter in 1949 and 1950. In 1950, he was the high scorer in the league with 60 points and was elected to the All-League team. He was proud to be a part of 2 consecutive undefeated seasons at North Tonawanda. He is a 4-year Navy veteran and is still active in local sports. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Gene Smith. From the 1960 era comes a man who played in the years of 1961 to 63. His position was guard on offense and nose tackle on defense. His top weight during his playing days was 145 pounds. In 1963, he was elected to the Niagara Frontier All-Star team with the quote, "The smallest player on the team at 5'6", quick as a cat, who rushed enemy passers unmercifully." He also made the Niagara County All-Star team in 1960. He has received the Ellery Club Award for all-around athletic ability. He also excelled in wrestling and track. He was all-sectional in wrestling. He served in the U.S. Marines in Vietnam and is presently employed at Harrison Radiator in Lockport. Ladies and gentlemen, may we present Mr. Guy Fire. Our final inductee played for North Tonawanda from 1978 to 1980. He played offensive wingback and running back, defensive halfback, and was the team's place kicker. He earned 3 varsity letters in football and was all-league selection in 1979 and 1980. He was considered one of the best all-around players in the area and the premier place kicker in Western New York. In 1979, he kicked a 23-yard field goal to beat an undefeated Jamestown team, and he kicked a 19-yard field goal in overtime at Rich Stadium to defeat Orchard Park and give North Tonawanda the Division I championship. He still resides here in North Tonawanda, and we are pleased to present Mr. Ron Hoffman. Ladies and gentlemen, greeting each one of these inductees down in the field is Mr. John Lewis, the current president of the North Tonawanda Football Hall of Fame. This concludes our on-field presentation. Tomorrow night, October 20th, these men will again be honored at a dinner dance.
Here over the PA announcement, but okay, here we are. I'm with John Chisera up in the press box, and John, you've got to be happy here. The home team winning here. A little bit shocking, 13-0 over Jamestown at halftime.
Well, we've worked very hard in our passing game all season. I think with our new offense, we're going to create some problems for teams in the future. We always gear up for Jamestown as well as Jamestown gears up for North Tonawanda. I think we're going to see a good second half here.
All right, tell us about the player inductees, the Hall of Fame, and what that is all about for the Western New York audience who might not be familiar with this.
These are selection or candidates that we send out ballots to the city of North Tonawanda to people who write in turn and tell us who they pick at certain eras in the North Tonawanda football history. And this has been going on for a great number of years. I can say that I was a past member of the Hall of Fame and look forward to many of the new members that are coming into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it must be quite an honor. That's Lou Parrish, Gene Smith, Guy Fire, and Ron Hoffman, the 4 inducted tonight. Let's talk about sports in general at North Tonawanda besides football. What else is going on at the school?
Well, we have our volleyball team this year was doing a tremendous job. We have 1 loss this year. Our girls volleyball are undefeated in the section. Our soccer team will go on to sectional playoffs in the playoff division. And we've had a good year so far. Generally all around, all the kids are doing well, and we look forward to a good year in fall sports.
Well, a win tonight would really vault you back into the playoff situation, John, and then you'd have a big game coming up with arch rival Tonawanda in 2 weeks, and we'll be on that broadcast too.
Yes, we will. Once again, we still have some tough games remaining with Lancaster, and you know, they're 0-5, but still everybody's got to come out there and play every week, and you never know what happens.
Yeah, Lancaster's never 0-5, but that's the way they stand right now. Going into the second half, how do you see it?
Well, I just believe that if we continue to do the things we did in the first half, we blocked very well for our passing team. We've come up and made the plays defensively, and I think that's what we got to continually do.
And talking to your head coach there, he told me that they were pretty confident coming into this game. Was that the feeling at the school with the coaching staff and the players that they could win this game?
Definitely. In the classroom today, the kids were telling me, Mr. C, we're ready. We're ready mentally, and we're going to be there, and they're going to notice North Tonawanda tonight.
Okay, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
John Chisera, the athletic director here at North Tonawanda High School. Frank, a lot of festivities at halftime. A big 13-0 lead for the home team, North Tonawanda. Not insurmountable for Jamestown because they're very talented, but things look good for North Tonawanda right now.
Well, absolutely right. Things do look good. As we said at the end of the first half of action, that they'd fallen behind by 3 scores. It would have been a much tougher task to get back into this ball game. But with 2 scores and 2 quarters of football to play, you just need to be patient and make the best of your opportunities as they progress. In that first half, the Jamestown Red Raiders had 5 drive starts in the ball game from their own 20, their own 29, their own 40, 35, 35 in the football game. So they definitely had opportunities. So if you get 5 or 6 drive starts in the second half, and it's all you need to do is score on 2 of them, and then kick the extra points, convert your extra point opportunities, they would be back in the lead if their defense comes around and holds down the passing attack demonstrated by the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks. But that's been the key issue so far in this football game, trying to keep Ed Mahoney under control. He has not been sacked in this ball game. He has completed 9 passes and 19 attempts for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, and has not suffered an interception, and it's really not been pressured that severely in the backfield. As we said earlier, the one time that he was pressured, an incomplete pass was thrown, but he was hit after he threw the ball, and the roughing the passer was called. The penalty against Jamestown resulted in a North Tonawanda first down, and that continued to drive for them. And by the way, as we said earlier as well, Jamestown had an opportunity to score, and they penalty pulled them back. So they've only had 2 penalties in this game, but they've killed them.
Well,
those 2 penalties.
They actually did score on a 64-yard passing play to Katie from Larson, but it was called back because of holding.
There's your small school poll as put together for the coaches in Western New York. The Springville team in first position currently with a terrific record. Albion is in number 2 spot. Always a strong program football-wise up at Albion. Southwestern, what a surprise this year with some stunning efforts, beating Salamanca and also defeating Cleveland Hill in a very close contest. Salamanca is at 4th place as they drop the game to Southwestern. Frewsburg, a very, very small school just east of Jamestown, and of course home to Shane Conlon. Everyone knows that school by now. Cheektowaga is in the 6th spot. The Warriors, we saw them earlier this year, and they were billed to be a pretty good team. They didn't look all that great in 1 quarter of play until the lightning struck, but then they picked up the game the next day and dominated over Lackawanna. Roy Hart's in number 7. Hinsdale outside of Oleans in the 8th spot. Wilson, also a good football program. Every year they're there in the 9th spot. In Ellicottville, a very, very small school, is currently ranked 10th in the small school poll.
And the Cheektowaga Warriors, Frank, will be on our broadcast, one of our games next week, taking on the Eden Club. And don't discount Eden. Eden's a pretty good football team this year, and they'll be playing the Cheektowaga Warriors on Friday night. Eden with still a chance for a playoff spot, as the Cheektowaga Warriors also have a playoff spot in their sights.
Well, the captains again meet out at midfield, and the officials once again for this game. Don Burns is your referee. Ed Gaswick is the umpire. The head linesman is Pat Dempsey, and your line judge is Bill Miller. There's our score, and this is a surprise. The 2-3 Lumberjacks and the 5-0 Jamestown Red Raiders.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes we come out here under inclement weather conditions, and I'm just going to sit down on this stool now, and I'm going to enjoy the second half calling the play.
Just like a fan.
Just like a fan, and enjoy the game. And our good friend Dick Gallagher, normally at all these broadcasts, a little bit more important stuff going on tonight. He's opening up the Renaissance House in Western New York, and he's very much a part of that program.
Yeah, it's a youth drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, and they've been waiting a long time to get the building constructed. They've had a lot of fundraisers. Dick's put a lot of effort into that, and a very, very worthy cause. And hopefully it'll be the culmination of a lot of effort on Dick's part that turns out to be a valuable asset here in Western New York.
That's the first of its kind in Western New York, the first one to go up. And if you follow the papers, the Renaissance House, of course, we're familiar with Dick. There are many people involved in that deserve a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
I know I read Barry Lewis's name was involved, and a lot of people.
A lot of people volunteering their time. Well, here's the kickoff.
North Tonawanda leading 13-0. They take the opening kickoff. Geibel at the 15, up to the 20, and out to the 24-yard line where he's gang tackled. Well, you might as well set the offenses to start the second half, and it's the hot hand of quarterback Ed Mahoney, the senior, who will lead the North Tonawanda offense out, along with Kyle Mall, the fullback. It's pronounced M-A-U-L. I was talking to Dick Grapes at halftime. Kyle Mall, and the tailback will either be Rich York or Tom Finicky. We'll see which one starts. The flanker will be Geibel. He caught a touchdown pass. Zayat's the split end. Frisbilski, the tight end. Brosis, Breyer, Zook, Cerrito, and Marquardt are on the offensive line. From the 24, a handoff and a running play, and it is Finicky, and he starts off the second half with a solid gain of 5, just like he started the first half.
Boy, incredible the way he picked up that yardage there. He looked like he was stutter stepping, trying to get away from people, and he was looking for the right hole, and everybody had an opportunity to touch him and perhaps bring him down to the ground, but he kept going forward, and a significant gain out to the 30-yard line. Walton looks like they're going to give him the full 5 yards, so a solid effort on his part.
Would you say it was Finicky on a Finicky-type run?
Listen,
There is a slight delay.
I work with Cliff Smith occasionally. Enough is enough with this stuff.
Second down and 5.
There is an official timeout.
A official's timeout. Let's set the defense for you for Jamestown. They play a 50, and they'll switch into a 6-man front sometimes. Left end is Chris Swanson. John Anzalone is the left tackle. Chris Lang is the nose guard. Josh Nelson, the right tackle. Jason Jackson is the right end. A penalty on Jamestown for 12 men on the field. Dave Vanderwerk, Aaron Jesse, the linebackers. Ray Taylor, Mike Cady, Bloomquist, halfbacks, and Terry Garvin, the monster. They had 12 men on the field.
Well, that's one way to do it, isn't it? A sizable 15-yard penalty out to the 39-yard line. Wow. Jamestown, they've had things happen to them tonight that they haven't happened in quite a while, at least this season. Another first down for North Tonawanda to open up this second half and wipe out the carry there for Kyle Mall.
So it's first down from the 39-yard line now. NT Mahoney, big rush. Screen pass set up. York's got it, and York slips and falls, and that's a loss of 3 back to the 36-yard line. Even if he did not slip and fall on the play, I think York would have been tackled for a loss anyways.
The loss is 4 yards. It'll be second
A loss
down
of 4 yards, second down and 14. And Jamestown needing to shut down the offensive attack of North Tonawanda and keep them right at 13 for them to win this football game, I would think, Frank. A third score might be asking too much.
Absolutely. We talked about at the end of the first half. That would be insurmountable, I think. There you see the quarterback and the fastback, Ed Mahoney, 87 completions and 160 attempts for 1,261 yards and 11 touchdowns. Yow. Tremendous numbers.
Mahoney back to pass. Throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Almost intercepted. Geibel had it go off him, and Bloomquist had his eyes on the INT.
And also, it would have been enough for the first down had he been able to hang on to that football. Let's look at the throwing motion here of Ed Mahoney. And this is where he cranks it up and lofts it over the middle, and a diving attempt there for Geibel. Second time that he had that attempt, similar type play, and he just wasn't able to hang on to it.
Well, we hope our viewing fans in Western New York, and I'm sure they do, especially those in the North Tonawanda area, appreciate the effort put in by our camera people outside in the freezing cold here to get the band on at halftime, especially the band and the halftime ceremony, the inductees, as they did not get a break. Customary to get warm, they had to stay out there. Mahoney back to pass, long ball. York's out there. It's picked off by Cady at the 35. He retreats to the 30, back to the 35-40, 45-50, and down at the 49. And oh, as the worm turned here.
Yep.
Cady came up with the interception, and it looked like York might be able to catch that ball, and Cady played it well.
First of the ball game, and an interception as Cady read the quarterback beautifully and floated back there into position. Rich York was drifting downfield looking for the long ball. And Katie just played it perfectly and waited for the right opportunity to step in front, take the interception away, and a nice return, actually, of about almost 20 yards to put the Jamestown team in solid field position to open up the second half.
Yeah, he intercepted at the 35, and by the time he backpedaled, he was down to the 30. Sanier, huge hole. First down, Sanier, inside the 40, near the 37-yard line.
I think that you'll expect to see that Jamestown is going to keep that ball, and they are going to run as hard as they can at North Tonawanda as momentum is starting to just swing a little bit back their way after the huge break on the interception.
Well, we're starting to get a little bit like Howard Cosell, go with the flow. See Sanier on that replay. Yeah, we were all over NT in the first half because they were doing well. Now we might have to switch.
That's what we're paid for, right? Nice and easy.
First down play. Larson on a handoff. Sanier with good yardage inside the 35, down near the 33-yard line. They'll spot it at the 33.
Sanier with a 5-yard pickup there, so he's carried twice down the second half for 17 yards. But more importantly for Jamestown, Sanier urging, it's a quiet crowd on that side. They haven't had a lot to cheer about, obviously, but they want something more from the bench. He wants a little bit more enthusiasm. He's starting to get it now.
I think the crowd, too, not used to this weather. It's been such pleasant weather on the Fridays for all the night games. Now, all of a sudden, it's freezing out here, and a lot of people aren't properly dressed for this type of weather. There's a running play. There's the first down yardage. Brightman, number 29, inside the 25-yard line for the first down yardage.
Well, starting to show why they are playing like the #1 team and ranked the #1 team. Solid pickup on the play there, as he was able to get 10 yards and take the ball down to the 22-yard line. Brightman hadn't carried the ball all that much in the first half. He now has 4 carries for 36 yards. And Jamestown with back-to-back first downs.
At the 22-yard line, up over the ball, center Mike McAdoo, quarterback Larson. First and 10 from the 22, trailing 13-0, Jamestown on the mark. And here comes Sanier. Sanier going towards the corner. 10, 5, touchdown. Sanier takes it in.
Just like that.
And it's a big play and a touchdown for the Jamestown Red Raiders.
And boy, is it quiet on this side of the field.
Now, what was
boys
it?
Across the way.
22 yards, he took it in.
22-yard run for Sanier. A 49-yard drive for the Jamestown touchdown. Now, we talked about that at the start of the second half. All the extra points, conversions, very critical for Jamestown if they do score.
And all of a sudden, we have got ourselves a football game.
Number 10, Scott Larson.
Larson to put it down. Katie to try the extra point high on the snap, but the kick is good. Good job by Larson to get that down quickly. And just like that, we've got a football game. It's 13-7. Now, I think, Frank, the writing's on the wall that in order to win this game, North Tonawanda is going to have to put up more points.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and they have to have a sustained drive to tire out that defense because you just know the Jamestown defense is going to come out there and they're going to be fired up. Look at this blocking out in front. One man gets a chance to touch Sanier, and really just at the end zone, a last gasp by Geibel to try and keep him out of the end zone, but way too late as Sanier fired up as he trots off the field.
Now, the way this game had gone, everything in North Tonawanda's favor the first half, I had some thoughts that 13 might be enough, Frank, but it doesn't look that way now.
I don't think so.
Mike Katie kicking off for Jamestown.
3 scores is comfortable. 2 scores is just not enough with a lot of football time to play.
Katie to kick it off from his own 40.
Darren Geibel and Darren Hartman.
Geibel and Hartman back deep. And the kickoff.
Ball taken by York at his own 10.
Or that's York, excuse me, at the 10, 20, 25, and down to the 27-yard line. So pretty good field position for North Tonawanda, starting from their own 27.
Brought down by number 17.
Now every possession, even though there's so much time on the clock, 8-11 to go in the third quarter is starting to become more critical.
Well, the passing attack for Mahoney was very effective in that first half, as we said a few times already. Obviously, he's having an extraordinary year. But here in the second half, as they hustle in Geibel off the field very quickly and get Mike Gonzalez out there.
What kind of changes will Jamestown make at the half to adjust to the passing game? They keep it on the ground. Finicky breaks tackles and is out near the 33-yard line.
Nice tackle on the play, though, by Terry Garvin, who was able to wrap him up around the shoulder pads. A good gain on the play for Finicky. Let's see, they're going to say 6 yards. Let's call it 5 yards.
Now, Finicky is the lone back that has done really anything on the ground, hasn't he, as far as stats for North Tonawanda?
Well, 4 carries for 23 yards now in the ball game.
And he lost 5 yards on a carry to start the second half. That they picked up a 15-yard penalty, so they had to wipe out that 5-yard gain. Second down and 5, and uh-oh, that is not a good sign. Mahoney calls a timeout. So this game might have turned in, as far as momentum, back to Jamestown's favor, and it hasn't been that way in a long time. Second down and 5 situation is normally not a down where a quarterback would call a timeout. But apparently Mahoney, Frank, saw something either in his offensive setup or the way Jamestown's defensing that play that he'd call a timeout.
Well, you'll start to notice that Jamestown obviously is shifted over and almost into double coverage on the wide receivers and daring Mahoney to try and run the ball. Now, North Tonawanda, on the other hand, must come up with somebody else to be a target for the throwing arm of Ed Mahoney. And it might be somebody in tight, like the tight end Zayats, who found himself open a little bit, or somebody out of the backfield who can run a short pattern and get open underneath, because they are putting 2 men on each of the wide receivers that split out that way to this side of the field. So it's a little bit tough to run pass patterns with all the traffic that you're going to be running through.
Well, there's a very good look at the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks and their offensive team out on the field. Finicky there, number 23. Now, actually, that's the bench area. Finicky on the bench area. And the offensive team out there on the field. A second down and 4 situation coming up. Taylor, 19, the cornerback you see there, or halfback. And the white top, that's for Jamestown. Back to pass. Mahoney throws, wide open, and it's incomplete. And a late hit, and a late flag, and a big mistake by Jamestown. First off, Zayats was wide open. The ball was thrown behind him. And then somebody took a cheap shot at Zayats. And that was a mistake.
There's no foul. Zayats jawing at the opposition. He gets the penalty go his way. He should just quiet down now. Let's see how Mahoney throws his football. He's under some pressure. And there you see Zayats get whacked as the ball was walled past him into the turf, and the official decided to cool things down, as they tend to do out there, and nobody can blame them. A 15-yard penalty.
Well, that's the kind of penalty that could cost you a championship.
No doubt about it. Jamestown with a foolish play that time.
7:07 to go in the third quarter. North Tonawanda clinging to a 13-7 lead.
Let's go, Jack.
And they were about to be stopped there in that situation.
Well, we got to turn the microphone off, I think.
It would have been a third down play, and they picked up the first down. Mull for 2 yards to the 49-yard line. So at the 49-yard line, a gain of 2, second down and 8.
Ryan Brightman.
Well, some of the ladies sitting around the microphone having a good time.
Well, that's okay. They can say that as long as there's no obscenity said. Put it on the air. Rooting their team on. Somebody's having a good time.
Yeah, weird laugh, isn't it? It's like the Halloween laugh.
Yeah, well, you know how them women could be.
No, not really.
From the 49-yard line, in motion is York to the right. Mahoney's going to pass. Throws, and it's caught. First down to the 41-yard line, and it's Zayats.
10 yards.
Zayats has not had that many catches in this game. He's had 32 coming into this game in 5 games.
That's a tough throw over the middle on the slant pattern, and you're going to get hit. And look at that tackle as the second man in really drove him into the ground.
It's been pretty impressive, Katie, hasn't he? He was the guy with that driving tackle after Taylor made the first stop.
11 completions, 23 attempts for Mahoney. Looking to get more points on the board here. This is a nice drive, but again, think about that penalty.
2 penalties, in fact. They had first downs on 2 penalties on this drive. Ball for nothing. Maybe a yard loss at best. He got back to the line of scrimmage at best. It's second down and long.
Chris Swanson, a big defensive factor out there at left defensive end with the stop, holds Maul to no gain.
Well, the way I see it, the way this game's going, all North Tonawanda has to do is punch one across here, and they'd be in great shape. They're up by 6. Even a field goal would put them up by more than that magic mark of 7 or 8. Second down, and call it 11. I formation. They can keep it on the ground. That's a surprise. And it's York. Head of steam. First down. Or near a first down. York very close.
Yeah, he does have it. Going to mark him out at the 28-yard line, so he gets 13 yards. That's his first carry of the football game, and enough for another first down. Nice call. They line up the wide receivers to the left side. and then just run him off tackle. And he breaks it to the outside. Look at that speed as he turned it on. He ran away from the defenders. They weren't even close to him before he finally was pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, he does look very quick. He's more of a factor as a pass receiver out of the backfield, but that was an excellent run. They spotted at the 28. York's in motion right. Only one back in the backfield, and he's got the ball. Mull, and Mull is hit hard at the 22-yard line.
Making the stop, number 68.
Excellent run. That's a big gainer.
Jamestown players slow to unpile as a couple of players collided on the tackle. Vanderwerk along with Garvin really bumped shoulder pads and helmets there. Significant gain of 6 yards, though, for Kyle Mull. And a nice call. Misdirection once again, like the old Miami Dolphins play, Walt, when they had you on the ropes. They started running all over the place, and he started chasing instead of pursuing or getting aggressive to the football.
2nd and 4. Mull the lone back that time. This time he's the up man in the eye. Goes to York, the second man. He breaks the line of scrimmage. Picks up the first down down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line.
Let's give him 8 yards. So second carry and another first down for York.
At the 16-yard line of Jamestown.
And wow, that penalty really looms large now. We're still in the third quarter with a lot of football, but they should come out of this drive with at least an attempt at a field goal for points and possibly a touchdown here. There's the head coach, Dave Anastasi. Who's he talking to?
He's throwing some kind of signals out to his players, I guess. First down from the 16, I formation. Mahoney gonna hand it off. Oh, and York, a yard gain, that's it.
68, John Anzalone with the hit. Anzalone laid into him, 6'1", 248-pound senior. I hope that's Dave Anastasi. I'm not sure now as I look over at the sidelines.
Well, I'll tell you, Dave probably in one of the jackets or so dressed up. I don't think that was Dave. 2nd down and let's call it 9. A gain of a yard on that play. Mahoney to pass. Looks, end zone. Incomplete. Zayas was out there.
Off his fingertips.
3rd down. That was close. And Katie on the coverage again.
Mike Katie.
And he had to have good coverage because
He laid it out there, and what's happening is the quarterback's outguessing the defensive backs. He lofted it so far that the defensive back, by the time he turns around, the ball's past him and into the opportunity arms of the receiver. And that was close to being a reception for the touchdown in the end zone.
well, that was perfect coverage, though, too, because had that pass been thrown on the money, Katie might have gotten a hand on it. He was that close to the defensive back, to the receiver, the defensive back Katie was. The ball overthrown, and that allowed the receiver to look like he was open, but he was really well covered. 3rd down play, and the same play.
Out of the end zone.
Thrown away. Now the field goal unit will come on, I'm sure, here. And if they are successful with this field goal try of 33 yards, they would vault into a 9-point lead. And that's Mahoney, the field goal kicker. This could be the most important play of the game right here, Craig.
10 yards.
I do have to agree with you, because as you said, with a 13-7 score, if they get just 3 points here, that puts Jamestown into a position of having to score twice more in this football game, and that is tough on the high school level.
Zook will center it. Zayas will put it down at the 23. Mahoney will try it. From there, it will be a 33-yard attempt. The kick is up, and the kick.
What's the call?
It's good.
There it is.
It is good, and I'll tell you, from my angle, I don't know, but the official right behind there could
we had
see
a
a lot
tough
better.
angle with the angling kick there. It caught the left upright from our vantage point location, and it didn't hit it, but what we're saying is it came close to looking like it went outside of it, but the official right there made the call, and he was deep in the end zone when he made the call. So what was the distance on that field goal?
33-yard kick by Ed Mahoney.
That was a significant kick with 3:36 to go here.
Oh, here we're going to get a good view at this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it caught it, went right around
No problem, yeah. Well, we're up in the press box, and our angle is very poor. Maybe might be asking a lot if we could take a look at that one more time. That was definitely inside, and it hooked in there. And he had a lot of distance on that, Frank. Could have made that from 40.
And they went a long way to get that field goal as well, as we'll look at it one more time.
This is a nice shot.
Heck of a leg on this guy.
Yeah, no question about it. You could see they're clearly inside. Good call by the officials right there.
Jamestown on that drive gave up 3 points, but put themselves in a very tough spot here. Still a lot of time to go, but again, scoring twice is very, very difficult, and they did it because they committed a foolish penalty.
Mahoney to kick it away, and it's taken by Katie, I believe, at the 5.
Well, that's Senior.
No, that is Senior, right? And Senier's all the way up over the 30 and out to the 33-yard line.
Number 82, Darren Hart.
But with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter, what that field goal means is Jamestown has to score twice. Two type of scorers, one will not do it, even with the two-point conversion.
Number 39, Ryan Lewison on the stop.
Man, that is a big difference, Frank.
Oh, you know it.
At their own 33-yard line.
Yes, you know it.
Now you have to wonder why. Well, that's a tough call for Coach Willie Huckman. When they scored the first touchdown, thinking about 1 or 2, but at that point it was 13-0.
Well, sure. And if he scores another touchdown and he kicks the extra point again, he's up by a point. So that's good strategy.
I formation. Larson, quick one out here, caught. Katie is dropped at the line of scrimmage, might have lost a yard. They tried to get it to the quick one, Katie, who's got some excellent moves if they can get him in the open field.
I think they're going to give him no gain on the play.
No gain, second down.
2nd and 10 coming up.
No gain.
Defense of North Tonawanda has played very well. They play in a 4-4 defense. They actually lost about a foot on that play, and it is 2nd down and long. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. Two receivers out to the right. One out to the left from the I formation. Larson on a handoff. Here comes Sanier. Drop for a yard gain. And that's all.
Good tackle in there as Sanier ran into his blocking back, Eric Barnes.
39, Ryan Lewis.
2 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the third quarter.
That microphone is right down below you if you want to pull it back up.
I don't know if I chance it.
Yeah, that really doesn't make a lot of sense.
2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 16-7 count in favor of North Tonawanda. Larson back to pass. Looking, throws, it's caught by Taylor, and a first down to the 48-yard line.
That's as close to a miss as you can get.
He's brought down by number 36, Kyle Hall, and Trey Mazias.
Without the ball being intercepted or deflected and still making the completion, it'll be coming right at us here. Nice throw by Larson. And look at that, right into the arms, and a first down reception out to the 49-yard line. A terrific effort there.
Well, we pulled the plug on the fans.
Absolutely.
They got a little carried away.
Send them a message.
To the 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Jamestown still in this football game. A handoff to Sanier. He breaks a tackle, and Sanier is near the first down yardage. A pickup of 9.
Sanier's an excellent running back, and now with 18 carries, he's up over 90 yards at 92 yards.
More importantly, the clock goes down to 1 minute and 10 remaining in the third quarter.
Look at Sanier, a quick burst of speed. He's not that big. We've mentioned that a couple of times. Kevin is a 5'6", 150-pounder. That's rather light for the high school level here now. Young fellas that much bigger than they were a number of years ago. And he's still playing a big man's game.
Well, you heard the introduction. Guy Fire played at 145 pounds, making all those tackles.
That's right. 2nd
and 2 will give him 8 on that play. Pro formation. There's the first down yardage.
Should be Brightman, I think, on the carry.
Number 43.
That is Ryan Brightman with the 3 yards needed for the first down. So Jamestown on the go here again, and 41 seconds to go. They'll crank up the clock once these markers are downed again. And Jamestown on the move.
Ryan Brightman, the ball carrier, has had a big gainer in every game. He had one in this game, but could look for him to possibly break one, a long one before this game's over. 30 seconds to go, third quarter. Jamestown moving the football this second half, moving it very well. A couple of foolish penalties, one for sure. The late hit cost them at 3 points. Larson to pass. Throws it, incomplete. Good job by Larson just to get the football away.
Yeah, absolutely right. It was close to being one of those where the official's going to blow the whistle because he was in an injury possible situation there, standing up with his leg being pinned to the turf, and an easy target for a strong hit. Let's look at him again. He does a nice job at least getting rid of the ball here. There he is, and he's a target for a shot, but he was able to dump the ball off, and the receiver couldn't hang on to it.
You see Sanier had it go off of his hands, and right there on defense, Mark Basile, the right inside linebacker, number 31. Good coverage as he was right on the back of Sanier. Third down play coming up, and long. 13 seconds remaining, third quarter. 16-7, NT, quick one. Bloomquist, he's got it. He's got the first down. He's got more than that. Terrific play, a quick pass out to the flat to Bloomquist, and a great run after the catch.
Well, that's a big play on
Making the stop, number 80.
A 10-yard and better than 10-yard pickup as he takes it all the way to an 18-yard reception. And that was Bloomquist, as you mentioned, Walt, and Larson showing that he can throw the ball as well. He's 4 for 8 in the ball game now.
The clock winds down. There's the horn. And the end of the third quarter. When we come back, the score will be the same. The field ends will change, and Jamestown's on the march. The score at the end of 3 quarters, North Tonawanda leading this one by 9, 16-7.
This fall, HBO has one question for you. Who do you love? Oh, who do you love? Yeah, who do you love? Who do you love? Oh, who do you love? Why not love them all this fall on HBO? Simply the best.
Start of the fourth quarter, 16-7. North Tonawanda leading Jamestown by 9 points, and it's 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line of North Tonawanda. Here come the Red Raiders. They're setting up the screen, and it's Senior, and he's got blockers in front. And Senior will try to turn the corner, and he does. And Senior has the first down and has much more. He's inside the 10-yard line. It will be a first and goal to go for Jamestown. And a whole lot of time left, 11:49. Man, are they moving the football. Let's take a look at this again as my colleague is compiling these statistics as we normally do. In the flat from the 22, good blocking in front, turns the corner and gets inside the 10-yard line. Goal to goal. As the ball is all the way down to the 4-yard line, an 18-yard gain on the pass play to Senior and a first down. I'll call this one from the monitor with you guys at home, and there's the running play. And does he get in? Senior? No, he's to the 1. Great coverage from you to the 1-yard line. So Senior, an 18-yard pass play, and Senior, a 3-yard run. Jamestown down by 9, about to take it in. And this will really make for an exciting fourth quarter. But they're not in yet. They're at the 1-yard line. They come up to the line of scrimmage with Mike McAdoo, the junior center. And Larson, the quarterback. Frank, an 18-yard play to Senior on a pass. A 3-yard Senior run. And from the goal line, Senior, close, no signal.
Oh, he's not in.
No signal. He's not in yet.
Boy, it sure looked like he was in. Getting 2.5 yards there. Senior starting to really get involved in the offense here for the Jamestown team.
Well, actually, first play he got 3 yards. That was goal to goal from the 1, and he was stuffed right there.
Okay, so he didn't get in. A good stick.
He got about a half a yard. It's 3rd and goal from the half-yard line. They might want to give it to a bigger back. Senier's only 150 pounds. Might give it to the big fullback. A rushing play, touchdown.
You're right, Brian Brightman into the end zone. His 6th carry now for 40 yards, but more importantly, a touchdown here into this fourth quarter. And that comes with 10:31 to go. Brightman from 1 yard out cashes it in, and that's a big drive for the Jamestown Red Raiders.
And that's the 7th touchdown for Ryan. That's Ryan Brightman. And he is on the board again. 7 touchdowns this year. You look up at the scoreboard, and it's 10:31 to go in regulation time. Well, there will not be an overtime because they play ties during the regular season at the high school level. But 10:31 to go in the game, and this would make it a 2-point contest. Extra point try, the kick is up.
Looks good.
And it's good. Taylor on the extra point.
Well, a nice drive there for the Jamestown team, covering 67 yards. A lot of work there for Kevin Senior. Really starting to pick up the yardage now. He's rushed 20 times for 96 yards unofficially. And while we have the chance between the breaks here as they switch ends and get the kickoff teams out there, let's look at the team totals for the statistics through 3 quarters of play with the Jamestown Red Raiders. Well, I guess we don't have them.
Well, we will have them for you in a moment. But Frank, with 10:31 to go in the game, now the big question, will that foolish penalty and the subsequent field goal cost Jamestown this game?
That's a very good question. As you said, the penalties in this ball game through 3 quarters, Jamestown has picked up 4 penalties for 50 yards, and every one of them has been costly.
And you know,
every one of them has really hurt.
What they're saying on the sidelines now, you know the Jamestown offense offensive line and Larson and the guys are saying, look, just stop them one time. Give us the football back and it's our game.
We can get the 3
points.
points.
We're moving this football now.
This is absolutely one of the best high school games we've seen in a while, though. Toe-to-toe, these two teams. Neither team giving an inch.
Good matchup. The crowd a little bit taken out of it now as they thought they had a sure win. Bouncing ball, picked up for 22, 25, 30, and out to the 33-yard line. That looked like it was number 82, Eddie Hartman, on the return. And an injured Jamestown player.
And we haven't seen too many injuries in this ballgame, which is pretty good. Number 91, slow to get to his feet there, Chris Bagley, a senior, but he's okay as he heads off the field. He'll be assisted by a coach.
32-yard line.
Well, they got good field position, no question about it. The short kick picked up by Hartman. He made a nice return of 11 yards out to the 32. Now let's see what North Tonawanda does. They keep it on the ground. They've been pretty conservative the second half. Now they're going to throw it. Mahoney rushes out. Swanson's got him. Swanson on the tackle.
Well, the good teams come up with the good plays when they have to, and that's a significant sack, a 10-yard loss on the play. The first time that they were able to get to Mahoney in this football game, and the rush was on. Look at this. Swanson working his way through 2 blockers. Brightman and also in there to close on the play. But Swanson, we've mentioned his name a couple of times defensively throughout the ball game, has been in the position to make the key plays throughout, and he came up with a super effort that time. There you see the statistics after 3 quarters, and it's a very, very close ball game as evidenced by the score on the screen or on the scoreboard. 16-14 NT on top.
Second and long, a running play. And that's York, or Finicky, 23, not York. Finicky on the carry, short yardage, third and very long.
Give them about 5 yards on that carry, but they're a long way from the first down marker. Now you're 3rd and 15, and Jamestown smelling a defensive stand here and a punt coming back their way with a lot of time on the clock. We're down to 9:05 and moving in this fourth quarter.
A lot of time, as you said, Frank, 9:05, but you know, they scored with, what, 11 minutes to go. At high school, that clock, when you do not throw an incompletion, it really goes by quickly.
Absolutely.
Mahoney, 3rd down play, a big one. Swanson on the rush. They bottled Swanson up. Pass out there is picked up. It's intercepted. And Jamestown returning the ball to Monster Man Garvin. Jamestown is in great shape now to take the lead in this game.
Yep, the brakes finally swung the other way. A sizable return of 25 yards. On the interception by Garvin, the ball underthrown as Mahoney was under a little bit of pressure on the rollout to the right side. He suffers his second interception of the ball game in 26 attempts. And none more critical than that one there.
And I'll tell you who put the pressure on, 87 again, Swanson.
Yes, that's right. Swanson couldn't be denied. And also number 82, Matt Nalbone, as you see Garvin come up with the ball and then just take it upfield. A nice return as he was encouraged by a fan along the sideline. So this is great shape for Jamestown.
26-yard line, Jamestown. Handoff. Here comes Sanier, and Sanier down to the 21-yard line.
Doesn't matter how much time is on the clock now. They must maintain possession if you're a Jamestown fan and punch it into the end zone. That's all they need. If they stall, they'll have an opportunity for a field goal.
That's the last thing that the Jamestown coaching staff, or the North Tonawanda coaching staff, as you look with 8 minutes to go, wanted was a critical turnover and subsequent return.
I have Sanier over 100 yards in this ball game, Walt. He had rushed for 550 yards in the previous 5 games. He's having a heck of a day again.
Well, they're a tailback factory, aren't they, Jamestown? They always produce great running backs. You're getting tired now. And here's a running play. Sanier sweeping right, drop, short yardage. 3rd down and short coming up.
Number 31.
3rd and about 2.
Mark Vecchio, the sophomore on the defense, and there is a linebacker making the tackle, assisted by number 82, Darren Hartman, the senior. 3 yards picked up there for Sanier.
Wow, they got football field here. The cheerleaders jumping up and down. 2 of them just went down in a heap.
Oh, no.
They were all firing up. They're into it. Now they're trying to get their defense into it. 7 minutes remaining. 3rd and 2. Sanier tripped up. He didn't get it. 4th down. Now what do you do? You try a field goal or do you go for it?
Tom Britt, the junior, was in the backfield to meet Sanier almost as he took possession of the football. I think you got to kick the extra or try the field goal here. You may not get another chance.
Well,
let's wait and see.
35 yards in length. Look at the band going wild up in the stands.
This is a key call right here, as he was held to no gain.
This is John Madden football right here.
I think you got to kick the field goal. I think Wally Hucknall's thinking about it.
Grass, cold, good teams out there playing head-to-head football.
It's a 4th and 2 situation, actually a short 2, just over a yard. But if they don't get it, NT, they pick up a few first downs, and as you said, Walt, a few times, the clock just moves along in high school football. They may not have enough time left.
Well, the question could be if Katie can get it there. Katie, their extra point man, field goal kicker.
Obviously doesn't have the leg of Mahoney, but you never know. He'd be trying it, let's say, from the 25-yard line and be spotted about a 35-yard field goal. And I think it's possible. I think he might have enough leg to do that.
Katie is 2 for 2 on extra point tries, and inadvertently, I said Taylor, the punter, kicked the last one, but it was Katie.
Well, it's tough to say what they're going to do, but it looks like they're going to go for it.
Katie's on the field, 37, but I don't see them lining up in a field goal formation.
Sanier is off the field. Maybe they are going to try.
They are going to try a field goal.
Okay, they shook us up a little bit because they sent some of the offense back out.
Not too often do you see field goals at the high school level. You see it more often than 10 years ago, but we saw one moments ago and now another one being tried. Mahoney was good from 33. 6:38 to go. This is for the lead.
A 36-yard attempt, actually.
Let's see if they put it down. Larson puts it down. Well, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Good. Just over the crossbar. Might have been deflected.
35 yards? Did I say Did I say 35 yards, Dave Tasker? He's got enough leg, and he just had enough leg.
Was that deflected at the line?
No.
Man, it was awful low. Let's watch this kick.
I'll check again, but I don't think it was deflected. Let's see.
Yeah, it was. Looked like it was deflected.
You're seeing something I didn't see, but regardless, he just had enough to get it over.
17-16. Let's take a look at that again and see if the trajectory of the ball was changed from the line of scrimmage just a little bit. 6:33 to go, and now Jamestown up by a single point, 17-16. And you don't see watch it, Frank. Now, you take a look there.
It would have to be somebody on the left side of the screen. I think it was an illusion.
Well, I still say somebody got a hand on it. Dave says no. Well, my eyes are not that good.
And you know Dave's the decider. He's always right. But regardless, a nice kick.
17-16.
A nice kick. Under pressure.
So nice replays on the field goals by our crew here. Now, you don't see too many field goals made at the high school level. Now, we've had 2 big ones.
2 in this second half.
We might have another one before this game's out. Kickoff. Geibel at the 15,
He ran away from his blockers.
and down at the 24-yard line.
It's one of those where he'll look back at it and say, now why didn't I just follow those guys in the red shirts?
Now, for the first time in the game, quarterback Ed Mahoney brings his team to the line of scrimmage trailing. They have never trailed in this game up till this point. 6:27 remaining. And Jamestown has shown a lot of people here why they're number 1. Being down 13-0, being passed against in the first half almost at will, and shutting down North Tonawanda in the second half. Made some changes on defense, and it's worked so far. Mahoney, quick pass. That's caught. Oh, good stick. Geibel down at the 30 after a gain of 5.
Darren Geibel making the stop.
Big hit there. Mahoney in the ball game has attempted 27 passes now, and he's completed 12.
Second down and 4.
Short pickup there for Geibel. Well, they're going to give him a little bit more yardage where they spot the ball, about 6 long yards. His 3rd reception of the game.
Give him 6, second down and 4. You saw on the replay there, a good hit by the defensive secondary. Double coverage on the receiver left, Zions. Mahoney to pass, throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Geibel again near the 45-yard line.
Tough chance for him to handle. You see again, it's just out of his reach. And as we mentioned earlier, he's not the tallest guy out there. Number 80, Darren Geibel at 5'10". And boy, he'd love to be a few inches taller because he probably have 3 more receptions to his credit in this football game.
Mahoney comes all the way to the sideline, gets the call from head coach Anastasi and his assistants. They're doubling up on Zayats out here, the near receiver to us, Frank. They're putting 2 people on him.
Double slot receivers to the right side with looks like single man coverage. Now they're putting another man that way.
They're really concerned about Zayats. They're still going to pass to Zayats. It's deflected and incomplete. Brightman might have deflected that ball.
Went to the well once too often. They had a flood of receivers to the right side. They tried to cross them up with a receiver Zayats cutting back over the middle on a 3rd and 4 situation. And now the fourth down, it looks like they're scheduled or attempting to send the punter out, and that would be Mahoney, the quarterback again, but the punt team is out there to kick it away.
Well, just too much time on the scoreboard, 5:33 to gamble here in this situation and go for it on fourth down. Punt it with Mahoney. Apparently, Katie's back deep. Rushes on Mahoney, a fake, and it's incomplete. Pass thrown behind Zayats at the 25-yard line, and even if he had caught it, I don't think he would have picked up the first
Jamestown
down.
read it very well, but I got to get this guy's number for Jamestown who pressured Mahoney, who was kicking. That's number 34. And that's Jason Jackson, a senior, who was right in on the quarterback and didn't allow Mahoney to take a good look at Zayats. He might have been able to at least catch the ball had Mahoney had a split second longer, but the on-rushing player Jackson was in the punter's face and turning to the quarterback there, Mahoney, and didn't let him get the good pass off.
That was 87 Swanson in on the coverage. Ball turned over on downs at the 30-yard line.
Jamestown loves these situations. The lead, the clock on their side. First down in the enemy territory, and they love to run it.
Rushing play, Brightman, 5 yards or more inside the 25. I'll tell you what, the way Swanson, as close as he was to Zayats, Zayats catches that ball at his 24, 25-yard line. He still has to make to the 35-yard line for a first down. There's no way. They had that defense well.
Let me tell you about field position, how important it is in the football game. Jamestown in the first half, if drive starts at their 20, 29, 40, 35, 35, and I think the 31. The second half, they started at the NT 49, their own 33, the NT 25, the NT 31.
Second down and 4. And it's 29 carrying. Brightman again. Ryan Brightman near the sticks for the first down yardage.
I think he has it. Yes, he does.
Kyle Ball in on the stop, but it's good for a first down.
Well, you really have to credit Coach Wally Hucknall and the Jamestown Red Raiders for a tremendous comeback.
Oh, boy. Undoubtedly, especially in this fourth quarter.
They really looked like they were in the soup. They were in a lot of trouble, 13-0. I think the weather might have been a factor to hurt the passing game, too. It got so cold for North Tonawanda.
Yeah. I think Mahoney looks as good as he was touted to be. Throws a nice pass.
First down play, and here comes Senier going left. Senier for the end zone. Senier, touchdown. Senier from 20.
The backbreaker.
And this game is now 7 points in favor of Jamestown, 23-16. And the fans are wondering what hit them. What happened here?
They ran into the #1 team in Western New York.
Now, the #1 team in Western New York did not show up in the first half, but they're here in the second half.
Senior with his second touchdown rushing. This one from 21 yards.
What a ball game. Try for extra point, and a big one, because if it's successful, the best NT could come out of this game most likely would be a tie. They try for 2. How about this? In the end zone, and it's caught. And that will do it.
That's number 19 with the reception, Gray Taylor.
What a call. What a call. Up by 7. You try for 2 on a fake?
Yep. You take away the possibility of the tie.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, you're number 1.
Look at the touchdown run for Senior, picking his way through the defense and into the end zone. No, at second thought, I agree with you.
You're up 7 points. You kick the extra point. You cannot lose the game. He could have lost the game if it stayed at 7.
That's an excellent point.
That is a tough call.
That's a difficult one to swallow, but it worked, didn't it?
Well, they cannot lose this game now unless there's 2 scores, and that is very unlikely.
31-yard scoring drive, just a handful of plays for the Jamestown Red Raiders to put themselves up now 25-16. And just a little while ago, we were talking about NT being up by 9 points, 16-7.
Yeah, it really turned around very quickly. 25 points all in the second half.
Exactly right. And 2 touchdowns and a field goal in this fourth quarter.
Here's the kickoff. And York kept the ball. That did not fool Jamestown.
Nice try.
Yeah, it was a tricky play. Something you might want to try on Halloween, but it did not work.
19-yard line.
He just stood there.
Tried to hide the ball in his shirt as if he had given up the handoff on the reverse.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Let's look at this again.
At their own 19.
Fakes the handoff, holds the ball behind him, and then tries to take off.
That works on the schoolyard.
Used to work when we were kids, right?
Hey, if everybody bites at it with his speed, he can score a touchdown. Line of scrimmage, the 19-yard line. Mahoney's going to have to go to work. Goes back to pass, runs into Ball, throws to Ball, and Ball has the ball. Ball has a nice gain out near the 26-yard line.
Ball almost took his quarterback's head off with
North Tonawanda
a miscue in the backfield.
6-yard line, making the stop, number 43.
Wow, that's his first reception for 8 yards in this game. But I'll tell you, on that play, if you ever saw a replay, the quarterback dropping back, he runs right into his fullback and almost falls over. And then the fullback catches up with the ball again. Crazy play.
Well, for our viewers who just joined us, Jamestown, the #1 ranked team, fell behind 13-0. They led 16-7 in the third quarter. And now it is 25-16. Mahoney, long ball, incomplete. Looking for the tight end. I thought he was looking for the tight end there, Przbilski, and he was running. He really didn't run to the middle of the field where the ball was.
The bottom of the third, Cincinnati 8, Oakland 3.
3:04 remaining in the ball game, and it is 25-16. Third down play coming up. Mahoney. Back to pass, rolling right, throws. He's got a man, and there's the first down yardage.
He needs to get out of bounds, and Zayats was fortunate to do that. About an 8-yard reception for Zayats, his fourth of the ball game.
Well, 11 yards from the 26 up to the 37.
Is that what they said, 11 yards?
Yeah, well, that's what they put up on the clock, right? You were getting confirmation. 11 yards. Frank, let's go back to the two-point try, though. You're up 7 points, okay? You're on the road. You just made a tremendous comeback. What if they didn't make that?
Well, it puts this drive into an incredible situation.
If they don't make it, the team could score and win the ball game.
Exactly right. Pressure's a lot less out there now. They're just looking to run the clock out as much as they can. Keep the NT players in bounds if possible.
37-yard line, Mahoney. Long ball, he's got a man, and it's incomplete.
Nice
Intended
try,
for Przbilski again.
Nice try. 34 passes attempted in this game. They've only run the ball 17 times.
I thought they were going to click on this one. He was out there, Przbilski.
Close.
I'll tell you, you have to credit the coaching staff, whatever they did at halftime, Jamestown, not only offensively, but defensively to shut down North Tonawanda, because the first half, North Tonawanda really moved the football.
Well, in the third quarter, though, the NT club did get that one field goal, which looked pretty prominent in this game.
That's caught for the first down by Geibel. And he's inside Jamestown territory down to the 49.
Nice reception for Geibel. Let's give him 14 yards, another first down, another completion, 15-35 for Mahoney. Look at the replay. A floating pattern over the middle, and it falls on the money, right into the hands where he wants to catch it. And a sure reception for the first down.
Well, should North Tonawanda score on this drive, boy, they're really going to have to put that in the yearbooks and the scrapbooks for Wally Hucknall on that two-point call. Pass.
He's open.
Incomplete again, intended for the tight end, Przbilski.
Gosh, it looked like he was open, right?
Przbilski's got to be winded. He's thrown about 3 long patterns.
His defender is winded. Terry Garvin trying to keep up with him there as they walk back to the huddle.
Carmen Carey comes into the ball game. A senior, number 7. Carey a wideout. Get some fresh legs in the game. Mahoney gets the call from the bench. Well, I know our camera people have got to be cold.
Dave D is cold, and he doesn't look happy.
Mahoney back to pass, sets up. Another long ball. Arched out there and incomplete.
Nice try by York.
Yeah, York setting up as a wideout. It's incomplete.
Third down.
Something about these cheerleaders down below, too, trying to keep warm. We've been talking about how they've been trying to keep the crowd alive and the band into the game, and maybe they're doing it for the sake of just keeping warm in this one. These cheerleaders are all over the place.
Yeah, they're having a ball. Look at them go. Really enjoying the Friday evening game. Third down and 10. Crazy setup this time offensively. Mahoney For Zayas, incomplete. He threw it out of bounds. Our crew this evening, our director, Gary Black, and our chief engineer on location, Mike Humble. Our two camera people, Dave Tasca up with us in the booth here, and David D down on the field. Perched up on our scaffolding, and everybody pitching in and doing a great job. Our producer, Rick Carnett, and of course, Frank Stewart and Walter John here. One of the better games we've covered, Frank, this year. Heavyweight teams, Division I.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Big schools.
You know, with the win, Jamestown will just about cinch at least a wild card spot, and they're in position to win their division title. Mahoney throws, it's knocked down. Nice play defensively, 34 in on the stop. Jason Jackson, right end. Sometimes, Frank, when you term right end, left end with Jamestown, it really doesn't mean that much because they slot their players all over the place.
Look at the replay of this one. Mahoney looking for York, floating over the middle, and the pursuit from the other side got into the play, and as you said, a nice breakup there for Jason Jackson.
Well, all Jamestown has to do now is run the clock, 2:09 to go. Have to take your hats off, folks, to the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks coming in here at 2-3. They played a whale of a ball game. Game they could have won. They let it slip away. They had a big lead, 13-0 and 16-7. And then it turned. Senior stopped. And I think, and you give a yard to Senior. I think the key play of the game now, after you dissect the whole situation, Frank, you got to go back to Katie's interception to start the second half. The good field position.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And got them, got them the ball back right away. If North Tonawanda would have been able to pick up a first down or two on their first drive, it might have had a different final score. Oh, you think she's into it?
Well, high school sports, gotta love it.
Just to be back in high school, would you love it?
Yeah.
They're working on that time machine stuff.
I don't want to talk about it.
Those days are over. I wonder how many people would go back if they had the chance. Say you could go back in time, go back to when they're 18, 17.
This is getting very philosophical late in the game.
1:55 to go.
What would you do?
Oh, I'd go back, no doubt about it.
Things you didn't do?
No.
You'd like to try and do again?
Just to be young again.
Oh, I see.
Good job by the Bay.
Number 36, Kyle Mall. A great ball game, folks. Let them hear it.
Hall was the injured player. That's Brian Mall, 36. Oh, that's Kyle Mall, excuse me, 36. Kyle shaking up, he comes off the field.
You know, it's important looking at the stats here as I try and total some of these things up. Jamestown has not committed a turnover in this game.
Are
fumbles,
the batteries working in the computer as cold as it is?
Yeah, just barely, yeah.
2nd and 9. I believe we have flags on the field.
Ball carrier is
a lot of players diving into the pile there.
Short yardage.
He wants a timeout. Looks like last man will be Brightman to get the carry.
Currently no flags on the play. Timeout call with 1:34 remaining in the game.
Brightman had a pretty good game.
I'd like to thank Athletic Director John Cicero for extending the invitation to us in the press box, and we enjoyed the ball game, no doubt about that. The head coach is Larry Hucknall of Jamestown. David Anastasi of North Tonawanda. You know, Frank, North Tonawanda now will fall to 2-4, and I guess this would eliminate them from any kind of postseason possibilities. Looks that way. They have a big ball game coming up in 2 weeks against the Tonawanda Warriors, and we'll be bringing you that coverage next week. We're not sure what our lineup is yet for Saturday. That's Dave Anastasi. You were right then, right? The first time.
He lets his coaches help out. They were running the offense there. Lets his offensive coach call the shots. He was talking to the scouts or the assistants up in the top of the scaffold who were scouting the line play.
Well, Coach Anastasi told me that he's been involved 23 years in the coaching business. This is his second time around. He was a head coach 7 years before, and he had them at Britt Stadium for that big championship win. running play, Senior. Senior breaks tackles, huge yardage inside the 30, down near the 25. That should do it. Another first down.
Yep, tremendous run there for Senior.
We're not sure.
24 yards on that carry.
We're not sure on all the dates, et cetera, but it's possible Coach Anastasi was involved. Let's take a look at the replay when Hoffman kicked that field goal to win it.
I would guess.
79.
I think you're probably right. There you see a tremendous run by Senior. The only bad thing was he had to go out of bounds.
That was first years we were doing championship games, and remember we were a little bit unsure of how the overtime was going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
We got ripped apart.
People like to do that.
No, not the people. It was by columnists in the paper.
Oh, they all like to do it.
1:20 to go.
Nitpickers, that's all. Nitpickers.
25-16. Outstanding win for Jamestown. I really thought they were in trouble here. I think everybody else did too.
Well, this one's over. NT doesn't have any more timeouts. The clock will just move on, and the quarterback will probably fall just on one knee as you see the the running backs gather around him in the backfield.
One of the unsung heroes in the game has to be Katie. Katie came up with a big touchdown catch in the first half that was wiped out. He came up with a big interception in the second half. The defense for Jamestown really came to the front in the second half and turned in a spectacular performance. They were just outstanding. Illegal procedure against the Jamestown team. 52 seconds remaining. From the 30-yard line, 44 seconds now, and the clock running. With the win, the Jamestown Red Raiders remain undefeated as they push their record to 6-0. And with the loss, North Tonawanda falls to 2-4. So glancing blows being exchanged. That's number 59.
Tough to get hurt with all that equipment on, as they say so many times in the pros.
That's Mike McAdoo, the center. He got a little bit hot. You hear the voice in the background. Dick Graves, the PA man, does a great job here. 10 seconds to go. Well, too bad, because we're not rooting for any team in particular, but we did sort of enjoy to see an underdog team, frankly, North Tonawanda, take the lead at least.
You got to root for the underdog just for a while anyway. Jamestown, a happy team, and they deserve to be the #1 team based on their performance in this fourth quarter.
No doubt about it. We don't want the people in Jamestown to get upset with us hyping up North Tonawanda in the first half, because we did tell you quite a few times, and we do jump on the bandwagon, right, Frank, that
go with
Jamestown had a lot of time to come back in this game.
Like a rushing river, you just hang on, get on, and go for the ride.
Well, this game's history. The final score, Jamestown 25 and North Tonawanda 16.
Okay, NT led at the half, 13-0, and then in the third quarter, Jamestown finally got on the board with 8:17 to go in the third quarter. A 22-yard scoring run for Kevin Senior. That capped the 49-yard drive. The point after was good, and they trailed 13-7. Also in that third quarter, though, after a significant penalty, the North Tonawanda team moved all the way upfield down to the 25-yard line, or 26-yard line, excuse me, where they attempted a field goal, or the 16-yard line. It became a 33-yard field goal attempt, and the kicker Mahoney had plenty of leg on it. With 3:36 to go, they built a 9-point lead, and they led 16-7 at the end of 3 quarters of play, looking good for the Lumberjacks. But in the fourth quarter, everything fell apart for them, and the break started to go the other way as Brightman ran it in from 1 yard out, capping a 67-yard drive. That came with 10:31 to go in the fourth quarter. So an early touchdown in the fourth quarter put Jamestown right back into the game. The extra point was good, and they trailed 16-14. In that fourth quarter with 6:23 to go, they got a 36-yard field goal, a significant score in the football game from their kicker, Katie, and that put them in the lead for the first time in the ball game, swung momentum completely away from North Tonawanda, and they turned away with a 17-16 lead. They got another touchdown with 4:18 to go. Kevin Senior ran it in from 21 yards out, and the 2-point conversion pass was good to Taylor, the wide receiver. They wound up scoring 25 points, 18 of them in the fourth quarter for a great comeback victory in the 25-16 win. Individual statistics for the game: Scott Larson completed 6 passes in 10 attempts, 6 for 10 in the ball game. He had a nice day there for 67 yards, and threw for a two-point conversion in the ball game. Rushing for Jamestown, Brightman ran 9 times for 52 yards, and Katie ran once for 5, Larson twice for 5. And the great running back Kevin Senior, with continuing to roll up significant yardage, has now rushed for 700 yards unofficially in 6 games. So he's having a great year. He had 150 yards and 26 carries in this game. The North Tonawanda team was led by their quarterback, Ed Mahoney. He attempted 39 passes in the ball game, completed 15 of them. He threw for 2 touchdowns and unfortunately threw 2 interceptions that kind of turned the game around against the NT club. The better receivers in the game for NT, Pizbilski caught 3 for 34 yards. Zayats caught 4 for 74. Geibel caught 4 for 31 yards. York caught 3 for 11 yards, and Maul caught 1 for 8 rushing. Maul had 23 yards, and Finicky had 28 yards. There you see the team totals, and Jamestown really came alive with their rushing in the second half after being held to less than 100 in the first half of action.
Well, very impressive that North Tonawanda, 230 yards total offense against a good Jamestown, great Jamestown defense. Jamestown picked up 279 yards. And Frank, another turning point that we could point to, you really can't use it as a turning point, but remember when the ladies were screaming into the mic and you told me to pull the mic up? From the time that mic got pulled up here, everything went against North Tonawanda.
And I was the guy that told you to do it, so I'll take all the blame or credit, whatever you want to put out there, but I had enough.
All right, for our entire crew, headed, of course, by our director, Gary Black, and Mike Cumbo, our engineer, our 2 camera people, David D. and David Taska, for Frank Stewart, this is Walter John speaking on behalf of producer Rick Carneth and the rest of our crew and Adelphia Cable. The final score, a good one. Jamestown remains #1, we think. They should remain #1 with a very impressive second half as they defeat North Tonawanda 25-16. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast.